Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Clay Pigeon for round 10 of the Club 100 Sprint Championships for 2018. We're preparing for our afternoon session. My name's Andrew Mather, he's Howard Mitchell, we are Double Dash Motorsport Media, and we are getting ready for the lightweights and heavyweights to have their turn out on this glorious circuit here this afternoon. Howard, how are you doing? How did you enjoy this morning?
I absolutely loved this morning. It was a little scrappy at times out there, but perhaps just a sign of the I don't want to use the term desperation, but obviously we're getting towards the sharp end of the season, and definitely some people vying for position. But the story of this morning was that the two folks leading the respective classes we saw this morning didn't have the day that they needed, whereas each of the respective second place in the championship runners did have a good day. So it was fascinating from a championship perspective, and we saw some fantastic battles out there. Clay Pigeon really showing why it's a bit of a driver's favourite, definitely a good place to have a good old-fashioned dogfight out there. So it bodes well for this afternoon as well. One of the fastest tracks that we visit. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling chilly.
Yes.
It's got distinctly colder in the last half hour here, and in fact they were just laughing at us down in the production, laughing at us because we had sunglasses on and an extra layer on. We don't quite know what to do at the moment in this box because it just got sunny briefly and now it's sort of died down again. But it is distinctly chillier. It's a bit windier.
Yep.
Up here as well, a bit more of a breeze. It looks, actually, we said it earlier on that it wasn't going to rain. It's looking a bit threatening, and we have had just a few spits of rain in the last half hour as well. So it's all up in the air at the moment at one of the fastest tracks that we visit. There's the flag fluttering in the breeze, so it's picked up a bit here. So it's going to be an interesting one, this.
Absolutely. If this is your first time watching one of the Alpha Live streams with Club 100, let's run you through the itinerary of this afternoon. As we say, the lightweights and the heavyweights competing this afternoon, and their itineraries in terms of format basically the same. Each class will be split into two qualifying groups. That's two timed qualifying groups, of which the first one is heading out as we speak. They will then be split into groups of B finalists and A finalists and race twice each. So a pre-B final followed by a pre-A final, and then a trophy B final followed by a trophy A final. Top four from the pre-B final get promoted onto the back of the grid for the pre-A final, and then similarly the top two from the trophy B final, not just taking a pot home, but you get a spot on the back of the grid for the Trophy A final. 150 points is what, 130 points is what we're racing for across both classes, and both entries looking pretty strong as well. 35 lightweights competing this afternoon and 49 heavyweights, and that is including, of course, our subcategory in the heavyweights, which is the super heavyweights. Have I covered everything, Howard?
In brief, yes, you have. There's all the promotions and repechaging and all that, but we'll get to that. It all makes sense as we go along. I think it's time for me to disappear.
It is indeed.
Not literally, but I'm going to leave the box. Bye-bye, folks. And you'll see me down at the podium. I'm going to try and get some more thoughts from the drivers whilst these qualifying sessions are underway. So I'll see you in a moment.
Good luck with that. Right, let's have a little run through the story of the seasons so far here in the lights and the heavyweights. I'm going to start with the lightweights, as they will be they won't be the first drivers out on circuit, because half of them already are. They're heading out onto their practice laps ahead of the timed qualifying group. So here is your championship rundown of where we are at. 9 rounds down, 3 to go, and 2 races across each round, scoring for points. The worst 6 scores discounted, and the best remaining scores going towards their championships. So Chris Woodger is currently your championship leader on 1,525 points. Second place is Mike Noon on a circuit here today that he knows well. He's on 1,512. Third place is James Venning, who has had a really strong middle of the season. He took 3 wins earlier in the middle of the season. He's wobbled a bit the last 2 meets there, but he's still there in third on 1,492. Fourth is Matt Jones, who started the season very strongly. Let's hope this is a good circuit for him. He's currently on 1,464. Fifth place is Rob Langthorpe, who we've already had Goodwell messages coming in for. He's currently on 1,449 points. Then it's Ben Atkinson, second place last time out at Rye House, 1,445 points, and actually a tie for that 6th place with Adam Wielden. Andrew Ward is 8th on 1,442 points. 9th is John Gooch, your winner last time out at Rye House, on 1,419. And Freddie Fincham is in 10th, although if you were with us this morning, you will know that he is not racing in this class anymore. He has moved up to the Clubman's out of his own choice, and he actually won in Clubman's this morning. So he's 10th, probably going to be bumped out of that spot by Tom McKenzie later this afternoon. Heavyweights will run through as well whilst this is all going on. Again, very, very tight in the heavyweights. Seb Algieri, currently your championship leader on 1,518 points. Tim Hill, Sir Timothy, he's called in the paddock, is second place on 1,500 points. Third is Nick Trafford, last year's super heavyweight champion. Not a super heavyweight anymore, but racing as a normal heavyweight now. He's third on 1,495. Fourth is Stuart Jones on 1,463. Fifth is Ben Bennyworth on 1,451. Steve Bosley is sixth. Trevor Randall is seventh and a clear leader in super heavyweight at the moment by some 120 points or so. Eighth is Lenny Wood. Ninth is Miguel Hall. And 10th is Mike Bodner. So the drivers continuing to do their lap times. We'll get some interviews down in the paddock very, very soon. Clouds gathering in as well. I think the rain is about holding off at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on it. Let's just run through as well who we've got out in this first group before we switch down to the guys in the paddock. For the first group of lightweights, you've got Richard Banford, Jack Houndstrom, Nick Riddiford, Daniel Crawley, Darryl Snelling, Billy Robson, George Redstone, Ben Atkinson, Matthew Bell, John Gooch, Martin Auger, James Venning, Andrew Ward, Peter Hobbs, Adam Wielden, Lloyd McGoich, Williams, Josh Adams and Tom McKenzie running in this one. So 18 drivers in this one. We should explain as well how the splits work in terms of B and A finals. The top 20 are got across the two qualifying groups. The top 20, give or take, it'll be 10 from each group, will go into the pre-A final. The rest will go into the pre-B final, trying to race their way through. So this will be a key point of the day for many of our drivers, trying just to strive to get into the pre-A final. See Andrew Ward flashing through shot there. Oh, there's, I think that was James Venning clipping the tyres there. And I think we have got some interviews lined up. Don't worry, you won't miss any of the action here before we get into qualifying for real. Billy Robson currently the quickest driver in the qualifying session. And I do believe we can now head down into the paddock where Howard should have some of the drivers.
Thank you, Andrew. We're here at the podium where every driver wants to end up, except for when I'm stood in front of it with a microphone. But I have swapped out my usual Andrew colleague for another Andrew, here with Andy Clark, one of the many men who were miles in front of me in the Super Heavies last year.
I won't go that far.
So, how are you doing, Andy? Talk us through your season. How are you doing so far this year?
Same as usual, really. Not trying to keep up with the rest of them. I've not really done that well this season. I've not got any podiums yet, but we'll try our best. We'll see. I could do it again in the A final. I'll be changed.
Yeah, and still competing, of course, in the Super Heavies. It's been a case of Trevor Randall sort of out in front there. But how's the battling been in the Super Heavies? How's the season been from a Super Heavies perspective?
Down at our level, it's been all right. I mean, Trevor's been off in the distance in his own race, so we've never seen him. So a bit of a bandit, but we're doing all right. We're doing all right. It's good fun. It's, keeping out of the way of some of the others coming up behind, but it's all right. Yeah, not bad.
Good stuff. Now, how long have you been doing Club 100, Annie?
I think it's
That's not of itself a rude question.
Fourth or fifth season, I think.
Okay, awesome. Where are you from originally?
Me, Derby, in the Midlands, right in the middle of the country.
Okay, so why do you drive hundreds of miles to come to a hill in Dorset? What's it about Club 100 that gets you down here?
It is you've got all the costs, obviously, you get them supplied for you. That's all the great thing. You don't have to worry about all that thing. It is, though it's dead competitive, it is a friendly atmosphere. We all have a good laugh. We even meet up before we come here, so it is a good laugh and a good crack. And where else can you get the value for money and that to come racing and stuff? So yeah, it's good fun. And I can get in there and battle with other people that are around my sort of level. So
Awesome stuff. Clay Pigeon, track you like?
yeah, I do actually. Probably if it was a bit damper. My weight helps, I suppose, in the wet. But yeah, so but I don't mind. I like it. I like fast tracks. Also tried and twisty. Not like Rye Ice.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Keep. They're going to go green. They're going to go green at some point. It's just like a race start. They just keep doing that until I stop. But yeah, what are you hoping for today then? You said A final.
Hopefully an A final, yeah. Hopefully an A final. And hopefully try and get on here for once. And see what I can do.
That's good stuff. The trouble's just... Okay, I think we're about to go green. So what is your favourite track?
My favourite track, I'd say probably either here or Wilton Mills.
Good stuff. Well, enjoy it all out there then if it's your favourite. And all the best for the rest of the season. Thanks very much. Cheers, Andy. Back to you.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you, Andrew Clark, down in the pit lane. So we've got our first group of lightweights out on circuit at the moment. They've got about a minute to go before the checkered flag comes out. So a couple more laps for the drivers. Currently fastest, though, is Billy Robson on a 41.353. Now, we have seen the lap times being a bit slower than they were yesterday in the endurance and quadrant classes. So 41.3 is about where I would expect this class of drivers to be in terms of being quickest. Ben Atkinson is second, currently with a 41.339. Andrew Ward in third with a 41.408. James Venning has just improved to fourth in this group, a 41.498. Interestingly, though, for me, Adam Wheeldon, one of our top drivers in this class at the moment, is only in ninth place, a 41.715. And we saw this last time out at Rye House. Wheeldon have trouble with qualifying. There's your winner from last time out, number 13, John Gooch. And at the moment, well, there you go, our winner from last time out. John Gooch is currently 12th as drivers come over the line to finish their qualifyings. Is anybody going to improve here? No faster lap times coming in at the moment for those crossing the line. Adam Wheeldon improves, but is only 9th. Andrew Ward pops it into second place with a 41.293. Billy Robson improved to a 41.265 as well. So I reckon that's going to be it. John Gooch is only 12th. Now that, I've got to say, that is a bit of a surprise. And that might mean that he misses the Pre-A final, having won last time out at Rye House in the Trophy A final. He might not even make it this time. That would be a surprise. So Billy Robson is your provisional pole position holder with a 41.265. That will definitely have him up at the pointy end of the grid. Andrew Ward is second with a 41.293. Third place with Ben Atkinson, who is really having a strong end to this season, the number 10 driver with a 41.339. James Venning consistent again there in the 36 with a 41.426. Fifth place with Darrell Snelling, who really has been one of the most improved drivers in this season in lightweights. We are getting ready for the second group heading out now, so we'll let you know who those drivers are. So the second group of qualifiers trying to knock the drivers currently in the top 20 out and get their own places in there. Hopefully we'll have some more interviews down in the paddock very soon as well. See Keith Scal going out there. Good to see him back in the 41. Which was my number last year. The number 41. Long-term racer. And I think we have another interviewee down in the pit. So let's head down to Howard and see who he's got.
Thank you, Andrew. As the second qualifying group goes out, I have been joined by Martin Gurnett. Martin, for the folks at home, what class are you competing in today?
Heavyweights.
Indeed, and how long have you been Club 100ing, Martin?
I think, let's say, over 20 years.
So one of the more experienced and wise heads in the paddock, one would say.
And also probably one of the slowest sometimes.
That's not for me to judge. But I should say, by the way, ever persistent German just came and put his helmet in shot. I'm not sure it's showing.
Yeah, a couple of
But,
I'm a boy as well.
yeah, okay. Oh, good. Well, is that the flag of Essex?
Yeah, well, yes, it's county cricket.
It's probably not even in shot. Martin, talk us through your season. How's it compared to the many you've competed in?
Well, I'm running 11th at the moment. I'm 3 points behind Mike Bodner. But as I said, I've been racing since I think John took over the club, so it's probably more than 20 years. I may have had a few breaks here and there, but mostly consistent every single year, but possibly my last year. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm finding it tough. It's in the summer. It's in the summer months when it's really exhausting. I think, why am I doing this? You know, because the next few days I can't move.
Yeah, it does take a toll, but you should find something with suspension springs or something in it. But
no, I think it's time to hang up the crash helmet maybe next year. But so I get to the end of the last race of the season, I might change my mind anyway. But at the moment, I'm in the mind of it's the last time. So
that leads on to a great question. 25 years for Club 100. You've been doing it for so long. How come? What is it about this series that keeps coming back? And how maybe has it changed over the years, if at all?
It's changed a lot because when John took over, it was really disorganised, to be honest. Sometimes we even used to share the circuit with privateers. Used to come and have race their carts and then would race in between. It was sometimes you were hanging around all day, and then sometimes run out of time. It was the organisation has really transformed it, and I think it's a good club event for making friends and being together with mates. You see them every once a month or so. It's that part of it. But from a racing point of view, it's the adrenaline fix, I have to say. So it's sometimes have good races. It's not always. I had a few trophies in the few years, but it's not about the trophies. It's about as long as I feel I'm doing okay, not going backwards every single race. I think that's the main thing for me. So, but I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't enjoyed it. I look at it financially. I think I've probably given John probably about 25k. Probably put a nice BMW for that price.
But it is an affordable way to go racing, nevertheless.
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely. I couldn't afford to do it. You had to privately fund it. So just arrive and drive, that's the best way to go. So if you don't have the time, and I'm not mechanically minded, so I couldn't even think of going that route. Especially not hire a mechanic to look after a cart for me.
Yeah. Well, that's lovely stuff. All the best then for today, Martin, and the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And even if you do hang up the helmet at the end of this year, never be a stranger in the paddock.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers. Right. Indeed. So, I heard that, but for the stream and the folks at home, we're going to do the classic blind date questions. What's your name, where you come from, and what class do you compete in?
My name's Billy Robson. I'm from Kent, and I'm in lightweight sprints.
Indeed. And how long have you been Club 100ing, Billy?
This is my first year, but my 9th round, I think it is. Missed out Glanny Gores, but yeah, it's my first time I got a fastest lap in qualifying. So
Really just now?
Yeah. I've had a 5th at Shennington. That's been my best qualifying so far, but good result.
Oh, awesome. Well done, mate. So, that leads on well. How's your season going? It sounds like it's going on the up and up.
Yeah, I'm 16th in the championship right now, but hopefully in the next rounds I can gain a few more positions in the championship.
Yeah, and what's your karting background?
I started at Buckmore Park only last year and moved up to this year, so it's really only my 2nd season, but it's going well.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff. So, yeah, maybe how are you finding? Sorry, I just heard. Don't know what's going on behind it. How are you finding Club 100 then as a whole? It's relatively new experience. We've just spoken to someone who's quite experienced. What's it like coming in relatively new, even within karting as a whole? How do you find it here?
Yeah, I think it's really good. All the karts are really good, and it's very competitive as well. And so step up from the higher karts, you get your local circuit or something like that. So I think it's a really good championship to compete in.
Okay, best result up until now has been what?
I think I had a 10th at Ella Park. I had a 5th in qualifying at Shennington, and then got taken out. So I hope this round will be better, hopefully.
But okay, so Shenny, you were looking good until that, and here's another fast-paced circuit as well. Is that your kind of track?
Yeah, I like quick circuits. Struggle a bit on the slower ones, but hopefully I get a good result today.
Good stuff. What is your favourite track?
Buckmore Park, probably. That's my local track, and yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's quite a few drivers' favourites, isn't it? So yeah. So okay. So you're looking good today, and presumably you're hoping to better your best ever finish. And who are you fighting for in the championship? Is there someone you've got your eyes on to try and get past?
I don't know who's around me in the championship, but just try and get a good result today.
Yeah, awesome stuff. What and do you think you'll be joining us again next year? And that's the pressure question to put on people at the end of the year, but you know, you've been enjoying it?
Yeah, hopefully I'll be doing it next year. Yeah, I'll see what happens. Hopefully.
Awesome stuff. Well, I'm gonna hand back up to the comms box, I think, because David Whitehouse, who's been doing a fantastic job as ever finding me interviewees, they've all run away. But no, thanks for joining us, Billy. All the best today, and have a good day and rest of the season. Back up to you, Andrew.
Thank you, Howard. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this part of qualifying, and it's getting interesting because the winner from last time out is currently not going to qualify. Well, no, he is now out of the Pre-A final. You see the little tracker on the top left of your screen open up there. The top 9 of that order are currently in the Pre-A final. So the person on the bubble, and just as I say that, Hussein Rashid pops in a 41.461. The driver now on the bubble is Lloyd McGoich-Williams, who was in qualifying Group 1, set a 41.727. That is currently the cut-off time to get into the Pre-A final automatically from these qualifying sessions. That's how close it is. So you see that region around Rob Langthorpe, Bailey Morgan, they're just in at the moment, but if the likes of Ross Wheeligan and Craig Rankin and Keith Segal can pop it in there, there is a yellow flag, I can tell you, down at turn 2. They can pop a quick lap time in this late part of the session. They can get themselves in. For pole position overall, though, Mike Noon is absolutely flying. There he is in the 38. A 41.002 currently has him in pole position. Sam Nash second overall, not just in this session, and Chris Woodger in third. In fact, the top 4 from this group are all quicker than Billy Robson from the first group. So this is looking very, very close indeed. More lap times coming in. Look at them changing. Bailey Morgan has improved to a 41.533. Wheeligan has improved to a 41.549. Rob Langthorpe to a 5.54. So at that time, that means that the person now on the bubble is Adams with a 41.725. Another one of our drivers from the first session. That being Josh Adams in the 88. 40 seconds to go. Keith Segal improves to a 41.784, but it's not enough at this stage of the proceedings. James Appleton has improved to third, and third overall, that is. Not just in this session with a 41.171. That's a great time from him. Mike Townley's having a good one as well, a 41.413 for him at the moment. Drivers starting their laps now have got one more opportunity. Can anybody knock Josh Adams out of the top 20 overall? At the moment, it's not looking likely. Keith Segal on the lap at the moment. His lap times are not quicker. His sector times are not quicker at the moment. Mike Noon goes quicker again, 40.970. He's going to have pole position unless Sam Nash can pull something out the bag right at the end. Drivers coming over. No, Keith Segal is not quicker. He's not made the Pre-A final. Can Craig Rankin get in there? He's still out there. Tom Mayton could make it in as well. James Appleton crosses the line, goes third. Mike Noon crosses the line. He's got good pace. Craig Rankin comes over the line. It's quicker, but it's not enough. 41.784. Tom Mayton is the only person who can do it, and he has! What a time right at the end. Number 30, Tom Mayton, has just put in a 41.712, which knocks Josh Adams out of the top 20. That is how close it can be in these qualifying sessions. But Mike Noon has pole position for the Pre-A final. Sam Nash will be alongside him on the front row. James Appleton and Chris Woodger will be on row 2. Matt Jones will be in 5th place on row 3 alongside Billy Robson. And then it looks like it'll be Andrew Ward and James Atkinson after them. What a qualifying session. And I think we can now pass it back down to the paddock for some more interviews.
Thank you, Andrew. I have been joined down at the podium by a super heavyweight and a lightweight driver. So we've got the full breadth here of the Club 100 paddock. I won't tell you which one's which. I'll let them introduce themselves. So for the stream, who are you? Where do you come from, and what class are you competing in?
I'm Josh Adams. I live in Norfolk, and I'm in the lightweight class.
And Stuart, I just said.
Well, my name's Stuart, and as everyone probably knows, I'm a super heavyweight.
Back by popular demand. You're my first returnee to interviewing. Everyone else doesn't come back.
It's all about the branding. It's all about the branding. I need
It is.
in publicity as possible.
We do love his suit. We do love the suit, mainly because it's got the Alpha Live logo on it. Anyway, so I'll start with Josh because we've spoken to you in the last round. You just telling me a bit about off camera about your story so far. What's your Club 100 story to date?
Well, I did my practice at Ella Park, and then my first round was the nationwide event at Lid. So it wasn't an actual round, but it was in the same carts. And then my first proper round was at Lid, and then since then I went to Rye, and I come here now. So I'm really enjoying it. Like, I used to do D-Max, and and I've moved on to this. I think it's better for me.
Okay, cool. So you're enjoying the Club 100 machinery then?
Yeah, I feel like the Club 100 carts are a lot more closer together than like any of the other ones.
Okay, and how long have you been karting in general? Is this a new thing for you, or been doing it a few years?
I've been doing it quite a few, like 5 years I think now, because I went to karting when I went on holiday just for like an arrive and drive session, and I picked up, like, I just loved it straight away. So since then I've been doing it, moving up the ladder competitively, and like moving to new heights with this now. It's the highest level I've done before. So
awesome. And Stuart, you were saying, kind of take him under the wing a bit, always, because we should mention, if you ever come to Club 100 you're assigned a buddy anyway to get you all to grips with stuff. So just been giving him a few tips and helping him out.
Yeah, basically we met at Ella Park. We're sort of good friends with his mum and dad, so now Josh is racing. When you first come into Club 100, it's all new, it's a little bit scary, so you need a friend or a buddy, as we call it. So I've taken Josh under my wing just a tiny little bit. He knows what he's doing, but just to let him know about obviously where to put the lead on the cart, you know, sort of the sequence of qualifying, race sequence, where to sit in the go-kart when you're in the pit lane. But yeah, we all need a little friend, but now he's pretty much okay. I've unclipped his wings, and he's now free to fly like a bird.
Beautifully put, beautifully put. So this your first time at Clay today, is it?
yeah, it is. Yeah, I did like one session yesterday because John was kind enough to let me go around by myself after everyone else had finished. But yeah, I was pretty happy with how it went. But I think I'm driving better today than I was yesterday because there's other people around me, and I can get tips from their lines and that. So yeah.
How's qualifying just gone for you?
It was okay. I think maybe I spent too long behind somebody. I eventually managed to pass them, but maybe I should have dropped back and rather than try and pass them. So.
Okay. What are you hoping for when we start going into racing?
I'd like to be in the A final, but maybe it's better if I'd be in top of the Bs, because then, you know, it's got more exciting.
There's a bit of glory at the front of that.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on you today and going forward. Definitely, you'll be with us till the end of the season. Do you reckon now?
Yeah, I expect so till the end of the season. I'll probably come next year as well. So.
Lovely. That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear. Now, Stuart, I've got to. I'm going to. Have you got to go?
I'm qualifying now, so I need to go. So.
Okay. What are you hoping for today, Stuart?
Just not to crash. Finish in the A final will be good. Pick up.
Not to crash is a very commendable goal. Thank you both. Cheers. Have a good day. And have we got other people? We have. Are we good to, have we got time to fit this one in? Just check this. Hi, Bailey. You all right? So, are we still live, Chris? Yeah, no, we're still live and good, yeah? Don't want to do it without. We are live. Good. That's good. Joined by Bailey Morgan here, who, unless I am very much mistaken, is the youngest person to have started a Club 100 sprint race. Made your debut last time out in Rye House. How are you finding Club 100, Bailey? How's the experience?
Much faster than all the other karts I've driven, and much more clean than other races that I've done.
Good stuff. Awesome. So, the obvious question after that, tell us a little bit about your karting history.
Well, I started actually racing in Bambino when I was 5, and won some championships in Bambino at Buckmore and Lyd, and then went into Corv Kart, won that for my first season, and now we're here. So
that's awesome stuff. That's really so a lot of experience, even though you know the youngest person in this paddock.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey with other sports that have been very contact, but definitely I wouldn't be here without my dad, so he's helped me get through this.
And is this the first time you've driven direct drive, or is that a new concept coming into Club 100 to have the direct drive clutchless karts?
Yeah, it's definitely new because we usually do like standing starts, so rolling's a bit new to me.
Yeah, but we were saying in comms, we thought you held yourself on track very well over at Rye House. What are you hoping? Are you with us now for the rest of the season? What are your plans going forward?
Well, I'm definitely going to finish off this season and start next season, so I can do other tracks like Lids that I'm used to and Buckmore. So yeah.
Awesome stuff. What's your experience like at Clay?
I've actually never been here, so this is actually my first time. We did some testing in the morning though, so.
Okay, awesome. So what's the game plan? What are you hoping to get out of today?
Well, the plan was actually to get into the A final or finish 15th in the A. So qualifying 15th is definitely good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, indeed. So I've been down here doing the interviews, but how has the qualifying gone for you? You said 15th.
Yeah, I came 15th. It was definitely a struggle at the beginning since the tyres were really cold and I went off. But came back on and got overtaken, but followed them and got slipstream to get faster times.
Lovely stuff. So, what's your favourite track? Let's do some quick fires. What favourite track?
Buckmore.
Good answer. Popular answer. What's your least favourite track? Be kind if it's here.
Rye House.
Do you know what? That's pretty much what I'd answer to those, so fair enough. So, yeah, I'm getting a bit of a thumbs up from Chris, so I think we're going to cross over to comms for the comms result. But good luck today, Bailey, and for the rest of the season, and thanks for coming to chat to us. All right, Andrew, back up to you for the closing of this qualifying.
Thank you, Howard. Developments in qualifying. We've got heavyweight Group 1 out on circuit now, and Michael Ballinger is doing a very similar job to what he did at Shennington earlier in the season. Another fast circuit. It seems Ballinger likes these ones where you've got to be smooth as you get round. There he is, the number 38, has set a 41.566 and is currently the quickest of this group. Nick Trafford is second. Ben Cottle, just as we speak, has improved to third place on a 41.760. Very, very close. From second down to 10th in this group is covered by 2.5 tenths of a second. 1.5 minutes of this group's session to go. Just to update you on the weather, we have had a couple of showers pass through, but looking at the radar, I think we're past the worst of it. Can't see anything else coming in, so we should be fine. Stuart Jones improves to second place within this group, a 41.602. You just saw him flash through there in the black suit with the Dayglow shoulders and the Dayglow helmet. Drivers committing to this second corner, the first braking zone. These drivers coming through should get 2 more laps in. The one they're on now and another one before the checkered flag goes out. Still Michael Ballinger fastest in this section, 41.566. Looking a bit further down to those on the outskirts of the top 10, looking to sneak into the top 20 heavyweight runners across the 2 groups. Of course, we've got another one after this. Daniel Taylor has just improved to 12th place in this group with a 41.968. Paul Williams just saw flash through there as well in the grey suit and the grey helmets. He's looking pretty good at the moment. 7th place in this group, a 42.112. 10 seconds within the session to go before the checkered flag comes out. So anyone crossing start finish now, if you are keeping an eye on live timing, is fine. And there is the checkered flag. So the 24 is going to be the first driver over the line to finish their qualifying. That's Darren Townsley, and it's a 42.043 for Townsley. There he is. His session is done. Can anybody pop themselves up into... And just as we say that, Nick Trafford goes quickest. A 41.515 means he will have provisional pole position before the second group. He snatches it away from Michael Ballinger. And Ballinger's lap times... Nope, sector time's not good enough. And that means Trafford will be the fastest driver in this group. Ben Bennyworth comes over the line. Can he improve? He's currently right on the bubble. Ooh, a 41.908 for Ben Bennyworth, the number 2 driver there. That might leave him a little bit nervous. But a good group there from the first group of heavyweights. In a moment we'll have qualifying group 2 out on circuit, and hopefully we've got some interviews down in the pit lane. So it was Trafford from Ballinger, Stuart Jones 3rd in that group, Ben Cottle 4th, Lenny Wood 5th, Stephen Netting 6th, Paul Williams 7th. All of those drivers should, I think, be into the Pre-A final based on lap time alone. Good to see so much support here at Clay Pigeon and at home. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here. Provided to you by Alpha Live, round 10 of the Club 100 Sprint Championships for 2018. Qualifying Group 2 heading out on circuit. See Stuart, who we spoke to earlier, going out onto circuit there, having a little bit of trouble getting the kart going. That's not a problem though, and it's not a problem for us because we're going to head down into the paddock once again to see who Howard's got on the end of his microphone.
As the carts get pushed out behind me for the heavyweight qualifying, I've been joined by our pole sitter in lightweights and critically second in the lightweight standings going into today, Mr. Mike Noon, in his amazing, you can't see it on the camera shot, this incredible race suit that he has. So hi Mike, talk us, well, first off, pole position, well done.
Thank you. No, it was a good lap. It was a good couple. Just started to get into a flow, so yeah, just carried it on from testing, and it was all right from there really. So no, nice to get up in pole. It's only my second of the year, so yeah, nice to get that one in the bag. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, how's Clay Pigeon for you as a circuit? How's it been as a hunting ground in the past?
Yeah, of all of them, it's my local one. 50 minutes down the road in Devon, so that's all right. And yeah, so I got a second here a couple of years ago. Last year was a little bit of an iffy one in the dry. The first race I was off, and then the second one I got back at 7th. But the second time we came here last year, it was obviously raining really hard, so I didn't do as well then. But no, in past it's always been one that's been all right for me. So yeah, hopefully for a good result today, that'll be just to help push off the last couple of rounds of the season, try and challenge Chris a bit more. So yeah, absolutely. In that battle with Chris Woodger for the lightweights title, it's 13 points, I want to say. Between, there you go, it's still up there. So how are you feeling? We've got Wilton and Butmore. How are those tracks for you? How do you fancy your chances? This is the first time you've been in. This is the first time you've been in this position. Yeah. So Butmore, I won there earlier on in the year when we first went there. Mid of the year I didn't do as well. I got 2 4th, which was all right, but obviously I haven't gotten a second and a first the first time round. I was hoping for a little bit more, so that's always good. Wilton, I got a second and a third there earlier on in the year, so they're not bad playing grounds for me. I mean, obviously there are better tracks, but hopefully can get some good points and put a last-minute challenge on Chris. I lost out quite a few in the last round. I had a shocking round at Rye, so yeah, that dropped me back a bit. So hopefully can try and regain some of those points. Really, that'll be the aim for sure.
Now, what season number is this for you? Is it about 3, 4?
Second full season. Yeah. So the year before I did sort of 5 rounds just as and when, just to sort of get my netting, and then last year I did 10. just sort of my first full season. So yeah, this year was the first full one and the push for the title. Really, if it didn't happen this year, it wasn't going to, in my mind. So yeah, so it's either got to be this one or it's not going to happen. So you never know, it might happen in another one another time. So. Yeah.
And if you, well, no matter how this finishes, are you thinking, what you're thinking for the future? Does Clubman's beckon?
Yeah, no, that's the plan. Obviously, Fred, close mate, is recently moved up and is doing well. So
had massive success, yeah, exactly.
So it's a little bit hard to see him do well, but obviously, you know, he's proven his worth, and hopefully I can do the same if I go up to the class as well. So that's the plan, and hopefully that will be where we go.
Awesome stuff. Well, all the best for today. No point asking what you're hoping for with me being on pole. But yeah, have a good one. And we're going to go straight on here to, well, I'll let you introduce yourself for the stream. Your name?
It's Lenny Wood, heavyweight, running 8th. So yeah.
Where'd you come from, Lenny?
I'm a London boy, West Deal in London.
And how long have you been Club 100ing? That's not a rude question.
I don't know, 12 years, I think, 11, 12 years, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
and what keeps you coming back, Lenny? You're not 25th year?
Just the fun of the karts, the lads, the gang, it's the whole thing. It's, you know, the racing is the main part, but the boys make it, you know, make it fun. Otherwise, you know, I wouldn't bother.
Yeah, absolutely. How's it changed over the time you've done it? Assuming you feel it's changed.
I don't know. Yes, it has. The karts have changed, I suppose. Drivers, it's kind of up and down. One season you'll have more, you know, it kind of goes up and down. Because when I started, you had kind of everyone was on it. You know, you had 25 drivers. Now everyone's on it, but there's got kind of, you got the front group and so it's still, so otherwise it's still the same faces, same old John.
But same old fun, so you keep coming back.
Club 100. It is where it is.
How's your season going, Lenny?
It started off well. I had a couple of seconds, fourths. I was calling. Then I've had 3 bad races. So yeah, hopefully I've qualified in the top 5 today. So hopefully, keep fingers crossed, I can have a good race.
Has Clay Pigeon been kind to you over the years?
I had a massive accident here a few years ago, big accident. I was knocked out the kart. So besides then, yeah, it's been all right. Not too good in the wet here, but hopefully it'll stay dry. So.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Favourite track?
Buckmore.
Okay. Least favourite track?
I don't really have one. I think it's...
Good. That's a great answer. We like that answer.
Yeah, there is one. I can't remember the name. It's up Norfolk, Suffolk way, not Landown, the other one.
Ella?
Ella.
It's a bit of a drive for you. Well, yeah, not as much as this one.
Not that far, but it's a bit of a hike.
Okay, I'm being told I've got to hand back. All the best for today, Lenny. Cheers for talking to me. Back to you, Andrew.
Cheers, Howard. Lenny Wood, I think we'll be pretty pleased with his qualifying so far. 4 minutes of this one to go. So this is heavyweight Group 2. And already the lap times are starting to come in. And I reckon we've already seen the likes of Darren Townsley fall. So currently the fastest driver in this session is Tim Hill on a 41.626. That's not faster though than Nick Trafford, who'd settled 41.515 in the first session though. Alexander Lammin, good lap time from him, second place in the group, 41.62. Now that's comfortably going to put him into the top 20 overall. Trevor Randall, currently not the fastest super heavyweight. That's a bit of a surprise. Paul Williams put in a brilliant lap time in the first group, a 41.874. Trevor Randall currently on a 42.078, and that's right on the bubble. Martin Gurnett has just improved to 10th place in this group, a 42.031. At the moment, the driver on the edge is in this session, which makes a nice change. 9th place in this group, Mark Turner, a 41.996. That is currently 20th fastest overall. So it's very, very close out there. Trevor Randall improves, 41.792, puts him 6th in this group. That will put him comfortably into the Pre-A final. Driver now on the cusp, as it's all changing all of the time. Looks like it's Andrew Clark, who we spoke to earlier, on a 41.928. So if anyone can get in that kind of region where Mike Bodner is at the moment, on a 41.889, that's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at if you want to be in the top 20 and in the Pre-A final without having to race through from the Pre-B final. 2 minutes of this session to go before the checkered flag comes out. Plenty of time then for the drivers to get those laps in. We've had a change of pole position though. Seb Algieri with a 41.248 has shot into pole position, and I've got to be honest, I don't think anyone's going to be able to touch that, and he is showing the form that makes champions so far this season. Mike Bodner improves to a 41.826, that's good for him. There's quite a few drivers from the first session on 41.9s who are really, really on the bubble here. The likes of Ben Bennyworth on a 41.908. So if those drivers in this session, the likes of Mark Turner, in fact Mark Turner has done enough. So Andrew Clark is out. He will be in the Pre-B final. And Martin Gurnett improves, and that's going to get, and here we go. This is exactly what I thought would happen. They're now starting to push out drivers from the first group. And at the moment, Ben Bennyworth is the next driver to go. A 41.908 for Bennyworth in the first group. And that would be another bit of a surprise if Ben Bennyworth wasn't able to make the Pre-A final, Howard.
Absolutely not. Hello again, everybody. Lovely to join you back in the comms box, which is warm relative to the podium. As we're in the last minute then of qualifying.
Another big one at the moment, Stuart German currently is outside as well, a 41.978, so he needs a big lap. He needs a big lap on this next one, and he does have traffic.
Yeah.
So he might not make it, Howard.
No, spoke to him just a moment ago. Sitting second in the super heavy standings at the moment, and indeed he is the second fastest super heavyweight, as another one of our super heavyweights, Peter.
Checkered flag is out.
Yeah, Peter Gillett crosses the line to take that checkered flag. He's the first one across the line.
Mike
Anyone
Bodner,
improving?
Sorry, Mike Bodner's flying, and Wayne Dunham's just done it. Wayne Dunham sneaked in right at the end, and Mike Bodner has flown around and he's taken 5th place. Well, that was just what he needed, but Wayne Dunham has just sneaked in. A 41.891 has just, I reckon, pushed out Ben Bennyworth. Well, they'll be the solace of having pole position for the Pre-B final, but Ben Bennyworth falls. He is not in the top 20.
And that is a surprise, Andrew. 5th place in the standings in the heavyweights, of course. Brilliant lap there from Mike Bodner to bring that one home as they will work their way around. But it is the championship leader, Seb Algieri, who is fastest in that session. And sorry, mate, I've been doing the interviews. Does that make him fastest overall?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Yeah, by quite a margin.
Okay.
Nima Opavar does join him on the front row, though. That 41.457 beats Nick Trafford's 41.515, which was the fastest in Group 1. And Tim Hill also just sneaked in there as well. So it'll be Algieri from Opavar on your front row, Tim Hill and Nick Trafford on row 2. Very, very interesting makeup there for what should be a packed set of races in the heavyweights.
Yeah, and the big standout for me there, of course, is first and second on the first 2 rows of the grid.
Right, just as we've got the drivers coming out for the lightweight Pre-B final. Howard, have we got any comments coming in on the old Facebook?
On the old Facebook, we do. We have Paul Goddard, who took the super heavy win last time out. Wishing everyone well. Not at this one today, but wishing everyone, particularly in the super heavyweight, good things there. Rosemary Salter as well, wishing good luck to Jordan Salter, who I want to say is our 3rd place super heavyweight driver in the standings at the moment. So lovely stuff. Do keep the comments coming in. I am occasionally looking at the Twitterage as well, so at Double Dash MM, that's for Double Dash Motorsport Media, to get in touch if you wish to do so by that. Thank you very much for joining us on the stream here, going out live on the Facebook pages of Alpha Live, 100, Karting Magazine, and Double Dash Motorsport.
Apologies, folks. Not quite got the grid graphic, but that's not a problem because let's read through it on our screens here. So the lightweight sprint pre-B final looks a little bit like this. 14 karts on the grid. George Redstone has pole position for this one then. He set a 41.720 to take that pole position. Josh Adams joins him on the front row, a 41.727. Third on the grid is Lloyd McGoich-Williams, a 41.727. And here's the surprise from lightweight qualifying. Winner last time out, John Gooch, starts P4. Keith Segal and Craig Rankin are on row 3. Peter Hobbs and Charles Jackson, row 4. Martin Auger and Rhys Pope, row 5. Jack Hounsham and Alessandro Carloni, row 6, and Nick Riddiford and Richard Bamford on row 7. And eyes on the lights, they're red, they're green, we're racing in the lightweights for the first time today as 14 karts head down into the first braking zone. Will they all make it through? Yes, they do. Clean start there from our pre-B finalists.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good start from Lloyd McGoich-Williams. He's managed to get himself up to second, not for the first time today. We saw this morning in the Club and the Elite. A lot of third grid 3 drivers being able to get up the inside through the turn 2-3 complex before the S's to take second on the road. Good to see a clean start as well. Obviously one of our less experienced fields, one would imagine, being in the pre-B, but also one of our smaller grids, so able to work themselves through the first lap nicely. Just the one contact warning coming up for Peter Hobbs and the number 97 as they cross the line at the end of the first lap. It's George Redstone from Lloyd McGoich-Williams, Josh Adams, who we spoke to during the quali sessions on the stream, Peter Hobbs in 4th, then it's Keith Segal, John Gooch, Martin Auger, Jack Hounsham, Charles Jackson and Alessandro Carloni rounding out the top 10. We can see here that's John Gooch having a look at Keith Segal through the hairpin, but Segal able to hold on to that. Meanwhile, at the front here, we've got McGoich-Williams hounding the back of Redstone, but he's got to be careful because he's got Josh Adams along with him. Young driver is Josh Adams, as I say. We spoke to him just a few moments ago. Some just a few events even into his Club 100 career, but already showing good signs here as he tries up the inside, and a lovely move from him there. Good move by Josh Adams there through the S's, making his debut at Clay Pigeon this weekend.
Absolutely, and this is a good opportunity for John Gooch. There he is in the 13. Did really well last time out at Rye House. Oh, a little bumping and barging there. I think there's a yellow flag out there, hence the drivers having their hands up in the air. But it's still George Redstone, and here comes John Gooch trying to fight his way through, and he's into the key position. That was a move there on the 97 of Peter Hobbs, and it's got him up to 4th place. But look at the 41. You mentioned an inexperienced field, Howard. Well, there's one driver on this grid that probably has more experience in this class than anyone in the history of Club 100. Keith Segal. There he is in the very recognisable orange and blue Firestone suit. Has been doing sprint racing with Club 100 for many, many years. It's a good opportunity for him to get. Oh, and there's a bit of a moment there for the 29. And that's McGoich-Williams in his run wide. He's going to lose positions there to Hobbs and Segal.
And I don't think there was any contact there, Andrew.
No.
I just think he was out wide, got on the marbles. Oh, he's fighting back here with Keith Segal, but he's got to be careful because if he, in fact, has he hit over that cone? I think he has on the inside of the latter part of the horseshoe, which is a chuffing difficult cone to hit because of the way that the curb drops away. You've got to be very careful with that. They don't like you hitting that one because it can
damage the
can
cars.
seriously damage the cars because you'll bottom out actually the way that curb drops away.
So it's George Redstone from Josh Adams, John Gooch, Peter Hobbs. Currently, if the race was to end like that, those 4 would go forward to the pre-A final. Keith Segal 5th. This is the battle that you're looking at now with Lloyd McGoich-Williams 6th and Martin Auger there just behind them in 7th place. And just, you called it absolutely spot on, Howard. There is the cone penalty. So that is going to be a 1-place deduction, I believe.
Yep. And I think that was just an eagerness to get back after that the hairy moment at the hairpin.
Now here's a classic situation, Howard, whereas Lloyd McGoich-Williams has actually just made it back past Keith Segal. These drivers, I would say, need to work together because this top 4 have started to pull away.
Yep, you're clear. It's quite a clear qualification group here at the front at the moment, isn't it? With these top 4 pulling away, led by George Redstone
with Josh Adams, John Gooch and Peter Hobbs here. They're just breaking away, and now McGoich Williams, who of course but a few laps ago was in that top 4, is now going to want to get back onto terms with him. He's just picked up a contact warning as well though, so he does need to be careful here. Meanwhile, John Gooch, who holds the fastest lap of the race at the moment, is eyeing up the young Josh Adams down the main straight here. Is there going to be anything on into turn 2? No, there's not, but Josh Adams himself is having a look for the lead of the race, Andrew, up the inside of 3.
And that might leave him vulnerable now to an attack from John Gooch down the back straight into the hairpin. It's one of those strange things with sprint racing. I don't think these 4 drivers realise they're clear.
Yeah,
if anything, they should cancel the party and just ride this one home, because they'll all get to play in the Pre-A final. The thing for John Gooch, though, is clearly he's had a bad qualifying.
Yeah.
We know he should not be in this race. He should be in the Pre-A final. He just needs to wait his moment here. He's by far quicker than these 2 drivers ahead of him, but what he doesn't want to do is pick up a silly penalty which will rule him out of being in that Pre-A final. Right now, he's just in the right position.
Yeah, you can see Adams again there. Had to think about tucking under Redstone through the turn 2 and 3 complex. It needs has it not got a name, 2 and 3? I'll talk about it all the time, but
The S's.
no, S's is.
Oh, sorry.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry. You have Billy's blind here, which is the left-hander they go through on the straight. And then there is turn 2, but I don't think it has any name. Anyway, through they go, through the final corner, which I do know is called Top Bend. And here they are. Here's John Gooch pulling alongside Josh Adams. Anything on there? No, there's not. And he's got to be careful here, because Peter Hobbs is right with them. They don't want to battle too much as Josh Adams goes for the lead of the race. This time it works for him. Josh Adams to the head of the field. Gets past George Redstone. And John Gooch also sees an opportunity here, battling with Redstone.
And John Gooch trying to fight his way through as well. And he does so. So that's John Gooch into 2nd place. And he should work his way through now and be clear of the 47. So that's all confirmed on timing. Oh, the 47 going down the inside of the 97. And that's the thing, because they're starting to encourage into this position now.
It's not just starting, he's pretty much there. McGoich Williams is right onto the back of these guys now. And now, George Redstone, having led the race a few laps ago, is now, Andrew, looking at the possibility here of being dropped out the qualification group.
But will he be? Because we know that McGoich Williams has that penalty.
Right,
If
that's a
McGoich
good
Williams
point.
was to finish 4th on the road,
He wouldn't actually have 4th in the standings. Good point. I had forgotten about that detail. As Redstone runs a little bit wide out the final corner.
to put it another way,
Peter Hobbs. Redstone has got past Peter Hobbs. Apologies there.
To put it another way, McGoich Williams needs to finish 3rd or higher to negate the effects of that penalty.
Yep, absolutely. As Hobbs gets back past George Redstone. So good battle here over 3rd place, as there's a track limit warning for our race leader, Josh Adams. I'm fairly sure that if he... we were talking to him earlier, and he was like saying, well, I want to get to the A final. There's a lot of glory in the B final. Well, win a pre-final and then get up into the A. You can have the best of both worlds. He's doing everything he needs to at the moment, but he has just got a track limit warning. Needs to be careful with that, and John Gooch is on his tail. This the battle for 3rd, and these two have got to be careful, as you say, Andrew. McGoich Williams needs to finish 3rd to be in that top 4, but at the moment he's got 2 karts in his sights. It's possible for him, and he's already, by the looks of it, eyeing up George Redstone here. Anything on in the hairpin is a bit too far back. He's managed to drop Keith Segal by the way, and Segal has dealt well. He was being hounded by Martin Auger, but something has happened.
Martin
out
Auger
there to him.
span on the last lap.
Okay. Did you mention that, mate? Sorry.
Nope.
Okay. There you go. Auger span. So he's dropped down the order. 3.5 minutes of this one to go.
Here's your battle for the lead then, Josh Adams and John Gooch.
New fastest lap from Gooch just there, Andrew. 41.3.
And that's the frustration, because that's the lap time that would have got him into the Pre-A final quite comfortably. So, but if there's a time to recover a bad qualifying, this is it. You've still got 2 races across the Pre-A final and the Trophy A final to get yourself back up towards the front. 3 minutes to go. Will John Gooch have a little look here down the main straight, past us in commentary conservatory? But he's just happy to sit there for the moment. And just, Adams is wide, and that's going to open the door for John Gooch, and John Gooch will easily sweep through. Oh, he has a little wiggle there, and that might leave him vulnerable as they head down to the hairpin. Can John Gooch get the move done? Yes, of course he can. That is the experience of the driver in the number 13, and he takes the lead in this Pre-B final.
You can see, though, good to see Adams checking around, seeing where is everybody else, where does that leave me. When you drop a position, it's really important not to lose your head just trying to get it back to the point where you'll drop back even further, particularly in a qualification situation just as this. He jinxed to driver's right, but I don't know if he's going to have a run here into 2, although Gooch is going defensive, and Adams will have the switch back. Is there room there? There is, but he's not able quite to complete that. It stays as they were.
Gotta say, this is not over, because Peter Hobbs and George Redstone both have good pace at this stage of the race.
Josh Adams takes a wide line in, tries to get a switch back, but I don't think he's going to have anything on into the horseshoe. Meanwhile, Peter Hobbs in the 97 and George Redstone in the 47 are still battling away over third, with McGoich Williams ever breathing down their neck. As they come round, we've got 1.5 minutes to go of this one, and you still can't say for certain who's qualifying through here. The top 5, albeit with the 5th place man, a penalty to be applied, but if you can get up 2 places, it won't matter. And he's trying up the inside of Redstone there into 3.
Oh,
it's not
contact.
working there, but there's a bit of a nerf there. Pod-to-pod contact. Redstone managed to hold on to it. Good driving from him there to hold on to that. Now, Redstone won't know necessarily that there's a penalty to be applied here, so he thinks, this is it. This is my qualification.
Well, it still could be.
It still could be, because if McGoich Williams gets on ahead another kart, then it will be. So it is worth fighting, definitely.
And he's doing a very, very good job about it at the moment. Here we go then, across start finish. And we'll get 2 more laps in. But John Gooch is not pulling away. There's a move for second place here. It's down the inside. That's Josh Adams retaking second place.
That was the
away
84.
From Peter Hobbs. Oh, sorry, no, they're putting a lap on the 84.
A lap down, so he needs to be savvy here and not hold people up too much. It doesn't look like he is, so that's good driving from Martin. Although it has just given a bit of breathing space to the top 2 there, which means Josh Adams is going to be able to focus on John Gooch and John Gooch alone going into this final lap, Andrew.
But then again, it's a Pre-B final. You don't need to win it to get into the Pre-A final. If I was Josh Adams, I would just sit there and just ride this one home, because they are well clear of the 97 and all of those behind. We are now onto the last lap of the race. John Gooch leads from Josh Adams. 3rd is Peter Hobbs. 4th, George Redstone. If it finishes that way, that is your top 4 to go forward into the Pre-B final. The only way it can change is if Lloyd McGoich Williams were to get up to 3rd to negate his penalty.
Auger's doing a massive favour to Hobbs and Redstone at the moment, Andrew, because he's still in between them and McGoich Williams. So he's acting effectively as a bit of a barrier there.
Well, John Gooch is going to come around the final corner and in a weird way make it 2 in a row. It was the Trophy A final at Rye House that he won, but here today at Clay Pigeon, that is a Pre-B final win for John Gooch. Josh Adams finishes in 2nd place. Peter Hobbs 3rd, but what a drive from George Redstone. Very calm to hold on to 4th place, because he probably didn't know about the penalty that Lloyd McGoich Williams in 5th had. In the end, McGoich Williams finishes 5th on the road, but will be demoted to 6th in the final results, which will give, that means, Trophy B final pole position to Keith Segal, who was 6th on the road, 5th in the final standing. 7th for Jack Hounsham, 8th for Reece Pope, 9th for Alessandro Carloni, 10th for Craig Rankin, 11th for Charles Jackson, 12th Nick Riddiford, 13th for Richard Bamford, and 14th and a spin for Martin Auger.
Felt that was a good first race of the afternoon's proceedings, Andrew. Good little battle group at the front here. Here was the early stuff between Josh Adams and Lloyd McGoich Williams. We had battling, here they were again going into the hairpin, but this was where McGoich Williams went wide and let through Gooch, Peter Hobbs, and at the time Keith Segal as well. Keith Segal was, and there's the cone being taken out on the, as you see, unusual place, of course, to take out the cone. But there was the penalty there, which will mean that Keith Segal will finish in the official standings ahead of McGoich Williams. And here then was the top 4 that we had. We had Redstone, Adams, Gooch, and Hobbs at the front of this one. This was Adams pressuring Redstone, who had led for the first half of the race quite comfortably, but he got by, did Josh Adams, and then it was John Gooch's turn to send one up the inside at the hairpin. Neatly done, but there was the opportunity for Redstone to get back at him. Ultimately, though, Gooch did take the second place, and then went on to challenge for the lead here with Josh Adams into turn 2. Saw a lot of passes in this part of the track, as we often do, but in particular in that race, Adams just went a bit wide through that complex, and it allowed Gooch through. And then here was Redstone being challenged by McGoich Williams, but in the end, Lloyd wasn't able to get back up into, well, the top 4, but also crucially the top 3 for his penalty to be negated. So John Gooch, as you say, Andrew, winning, picking up where he left off in many ways, but in a slightly unusual way, having to do it in the Pre-B final.
Indeed. So we move on now to the Pre-B final for our heavyweights, and quite a few big names in this one. As we get ready for the grid, let's have a quick run through this grid. Big grid as well for the Pre-B final. Ben Bennyworth starts on pole position then alongside Jordan Salter on the front row. Andrew Clark and Daniel Taylor will be on row 2. Stuart German and Darren Townsley on row 3. Robert Stapleton and David Sterling will be on row 4. James Edwards and Rob Adlam on row 5. Row 6 is Andrew Cherry and Barney Langley. Row 7 is Chris Skivier and Stefan Appleton. Row 8 is Peter Gillett and Ben Johnson. Row 9, Mark Appleton and Philip Charman. Row 10, Jeremy Deeks and Keith Evans. Row 11 is Andrew McSherry and Brad Chambers. Row 12 is Simon Madeley and Vijay Patel. 13th row is Matt Sussman and Ian Sumball. And row 14 in a 28 kart field is Reese Collins and Clifton Malcolm.
As you say, Andrew, a few names in this field who we wouldn't necessarily expect to find in a Pre-B final. We're going to find out how they get on, though. We're good for a start. Eyes on the lights, engine notes rise. Ben Bennyworth leads them away, and Andrew Clark is looking racy from grid 3. Look out for him, trying to get past Jordan Salter here into turn 2. They're all going to be through cleanly. The 22 driver raises on. That's Andrew Cherry. He feels a bit hard. Dumbo! And we've got chaos heading into the S's involving Andrew Clark. Peter Gillett is involved. I can't make out who that other driver is. We'll keep an eye out on live timing, but there is drama in the S's. The start has been called good as they all work their way through. Stuart German here in, I think is that Dan Taylor he was battling with.
3 drivers through, not through sector 1. Andrew Clark, as you say, Andrew Cherry and Peter Gillett. So those were your 3 fallers on lap 1.
One of the beauties of the Alpha timing system here at Clay Pigeon. We have sector times. They go 3 abreast down the main straight here. And into turn 2, in all of that, we should mention Ben Bennyworth has been able to hold on to the lead in that first lap. Dan Taylor second, but they're just coming up to, that's Peter Gillett recovering. Wise, we've got 2 off down at turn 2 as well.
I think it's Mark Appleton and Simon Madeley.
Yep. So quite a few fallers at the start of this one. Ben Bennyworth doing everything he needs to do.
James Edwards has also not come through sector 1 on lap 2.
Okay. Yeah, as challenging for the lead here, Dan Taylor alongside, and he's got the job done, but surely there's a yellow there. But I don't, actually, Andrew, I think he's okay, because he qualified across the line, he was classified across the line as changing position. The gap 0.000 seconds, which means he was ahead before the flag post, as far as timing's concerned.
All I'm going to say is we've had...
Stuart German has a go at Dan Taylor now. Either way, it hasn't paid off for him because he has dropped back here as Taylor.
Yep, I think he's erred on the side of caution, hasn't he? And he's let him back through.
I would be on his side though in that one, mate.
All I'm going to say is
technically-
we had one like this a couple of years ago at Clay Pigeon, not at that corner, but on the S's, and it's been quite clear you cannot race up to the point of a yellow flag. Basically, if a driver in front puts their arm up
That's
to
true.
acknowledge that
That is true.
they have seen a yellow flag and they have slowed down,
Yeah, no, that's fair.
that is basically the new line of where racing should stop.
That
You
is a
can't
very fair
overtake.
point. That is a very fair point. As Barney Langley here having a good battle with Rob Adlam, just tucked under out of the hairpin there. Adlam, the other driver sporting the, well, I shouldn't call it the Mike Noon suit, but don't get confused, viewers at home. In other words, Mike Noon has not just entered the lightweights. That is Rob Adlam having a good old battle with Langley over 8th place here. Meanwhile, further forward, Darren Townsley and Robert Stapleton are having a battle down the main straight, and Darren Townsley has not been able to get by. Oh, sorry, he's dropped back behind Stapleton, I should say. So Stapleton has got the job done, but challenging back here, and this is German having a battle with Dan Taylor. Stuart will be, as it's a bit robust there. Now,
I'd let that one back through, Stuart.
How will that one be interpreted? He was telling me yesterday about how there was. You may remember he got disqualified from a result, but then reinstated at Rye House, and that was because the driver on whom he had done the move also felt that it wasn't worthy of the disqualification, which was very honest of
Fair
them.
enough.
So nice little example of camaraderie within the paddock, which is good to see. Here then is Dan Taylor, who at one point was classified as a leader, albeit by no time at all in the gap. Now being hounded by Stapleton. Good battle is at the front of the field, Andrew. We're not seeing the field spread out as sometimes we do.
No.
And that includes, I have to say, Ben Bennyworth not pulling away necessarily as one would have expected.
Here's the battle
side
for
by
fifth.
side,
Yep.
Stapleton and Townsley. And it's allowed Adlam through on Townsley.
But Townsley's going to get back underneath, and in fact he's going to go all the way. He's got past back Stapleton as well.
That was amazing.
What a brilliant sequence of corners from these three. Very good, respectful racing between the three of them. On the inside goes Adlam, and I think
Townsley went
Stapleton just
wide.
got deep, didn't he?
Stapleton went wide indeed. And
Oh,
Stapleton's
Stapleton
round.
spins.
Oh, that's gutting for him. He's just trying. It's a bold move to put it up the inside of the horseshoe. You'd think it's on the brakes it'll be easy, but it's barely a braking zone. In fact,
Yeah.
it's slightly different kart, slightly different balance. You don't actually have to brake at all. So it is a bold place to try and make a move. I'm massively impressed by Jordan Salter here, a super heavyweight hounding the back of Ben Bennyworth, our 5th place in the championship standings, heavyweight. So a clear. A little bit of a disadvantage there, gravitationally speaking, as we like to say. But here in Jordan Salter and Stuart German, we have two super heavies really holding their own in this in a heavyweight pack here.
You've also got a top 4 now that
You have.
is 1.5 seconds clear of the rest of the field.
Yep.
So as they approach this back marker, they should call the halt off.
Which
The
is
halt off? No, that would be calling it on.
Call
Call the
call
halt,
the
to the
halt
battle.
off.
And just see this through to the Pre-A final. Good
And just
driving
a
there
good job from
the
McSherry. Andrew McSherry, that is, as Dan Taylor has a look at Stuart German, but nothing on there. Behind them, Adlam getting a bit leery through the S's to try and challenge Darren Townsley down the back straight here.
Got to say, I'm very impressed with Barney Langley as there's contact there.
As that is Adlam having a go at Darren Townsley. It hasn't quite paid off here, and now he's in the clutches of Stefan Appleton.
Yep. And behind them is Barney Langley, who's setting very, very good pace. A 41.851 currently. Contact warning for Adlam. And here's a change battle for the lead. So Salter, not content with sitting in second place, is going up the inside, and he's taken the lead away from Ben Bennyworth. Well, well, well.
Fair play, Mr. Salter. That is some. He's not scared to have a go, is he? He's up the inside. That was a beautiful move as well. And now Stuart German's having a look. Is he? Yes, he is. In his favourite place to overtake here. And look out for Dan Taylor as well. This is not going quite how Ben Bennyworth would have planned, I think, Andrew.
It doesn't matter at the moment. He's still getting through into the pre-A final.
Very true, very
as
true.
long as he could keep clear of Darren Townsley there in 5th place in the blue and white helmet.
Absolutely right.
Appleton confirmed past Adlam for 6th place now. Contact warning for Rob Adlam.
That's not the first one I've seen either. He does need to be careful, Adlam. He's having some fun battles out there, but just needs to rein it in a little bit with some of these moves. As we've been saying, this top 4 are broken away. Then is Darren Townsley sort of by himself, and then comes this cavalcade, which
and that's
is
Langley. That's Langley coming through.
Yeah. Past Appleton now as well, so it's all changed here actually, because it started as Appleton, Adlam, Langley. It's now going to be Langley, Adlam, Appleton.
Stuart German's just set the fastest lap of the race of 41.703.
No, I was right. There you go. And it's Chris Skivia, as we mentioned, coming up onto the battle. So good little 4-kart battle here from 6th downwards. Langley, Adlam, Appleton and Skivia.
And it's crucial for Langley because it should give him a good grid slot for the Trophy B final, which not only there's a trophy available, but there's 2 places available on the back of the A final grid. Here is your battle for the lead in this one though. Salter ahead of German, Taylor there in 3rd, then Ben Bennyworth taking up the final place of those being promoted up to the pre-A final. German's run wide, he's run wide, and I think, yes, Taylor's going to get through here with the classic switchback move. Now we should explain, you can't quite make it out on the camera, that there's a bit of a camber, isn't there, on the outskirts of that corner, which if you get in it, it just kind of, you just drift, don't you,
it's
out
incredible.
wide.
Just the marbles out there and all sorts of things. If you get wide on that complex, it's really difficult to rein it in. And indeed, I've seen other drivers do it as well, get out so wide that you actually, there is a point where if you get wide enough, you'll back off and fit. It's just, because it is a very fast corner. But yeah, on the outside of 2 is very dusty indeed. They're now going to put a lap on Simon Madeley. Yep. So Madeley, and I think he just gestured to say go by me, so good there. But
and this is tricky for the leaders because there's multiple back markers in here.
Stuart German just went very wide in the hairpin there.
Yep.
And
has lost a position to Ben Bennyworth.
In
fact,
no, that was last lap, but he hasn't helped himself. Put it that way.
Doesn't matter, still in 4th place, and he's 2.3 seconds clear of Darren Townsley in 5th.
Plenty of good battles happening up and down the field. Still that good battle going on for 6th between Langley, Appleton and Adlam. There's also a good battle. In fact, that's just changed. Skivia's got involved now and has just got past Rob Adlam. So good battles up and down the field. David Sterling and Ben Johnson have just got past Philip Charman. So some really nice battles. Clifton Malcolm and Reece Collins as well having a really close battle there. But all eyes are on the front here as we enter the last 90 seconds of this one. Yellow's out up at the crown part of the circuit, and that's for a driver getting bump started onto the main straight now. It's the 37 of Philip Charman. So I mentioned he was in a battle. That was a bit of a commentator's curse, methinks.
He's got a battle here between David Sterling and Ben Johnson.
David Sterling, another one of our experienced drivers. This, of course, it was good being able to talk to a few drivers who've been doing Club 100 for years, as we're in the 25th anniversary year of Club 100. You've probably seen our little intro video, and here is Johnson up the inside of Sterling. Sterling's going to hold on to it though. He's going to try, but he's going to be compromised down the back straight as they head towards the hairpin. We cut back to the leaders, but I'll tell you for free, Sterling's held on to it by the looks of it.
Showing all of his experience there. Got to give it to this top 3. They've continued to battle.
Yeah.
They are now on the last lap. They timed that perfectly.
I can't think Ben Bennyworth is going to come away from this one going the B field. Don't know what they're doing. They've really driven very well and professionally here, I have to say.
But in that they've battled, but they've not slowed each other down. They've kept that gap to Darren Townsley. In fact, they've grown it. And this has been a very, very good display. All 4 of these drivers thoroughly deserve their spots in the pre-A final. Oh, that's Ben Johnson.
It is Johnson.
Oh, and we saw him a moment ago battling away with Sterling. I have to say, just looking out the window, there is an amazing battle as we go on to the last lap. There's an amazing...
No, this is the last lap. This is
oh,
the
sorry,
lap.
apologies,
And
yes.
Jordan Salter wins the Pre-B final. We'll see him again in the Pre-A final. Daniel Taylor will be there alongside him. Ben Bennyworth and Stuart German will make it to that A final as well, which will be a very good feeling for them. Darren Townsley in 5th. He will be on pole position for the Trophy B final. Barney Langley looked very, very quick there. I think that will have helped his confidence there.
Yeah, I have to say, the reason I lost completely track of what lap we were on is because I was transfixed out the window by Townsley and Langley's battle out there. They crossed the line just a 1/10 of a second apart.
Well, let's have a look at some replays from that Pre-B final. There's plenty of action in there. Race start then, Ben Bennyworth on pole position.
Now, what
managed
happened
it very, very well.
Did we see what happened with Clark here? I don't get
No.
it replayed there.
I do think Andrew Cherry was in the wrong, well, Andrew Clark rather was in the wrong position when we came to the start, but oh well. Battle raging on then at the front. Jordan Salter going up the inside of Daniel Taylor there. That was for 5th position at the time. Ben Bennyworth made a little mistake into Billy's blind and through the long right-hander.
Stapleton
Lost
and
the
Townsley.
lead.
Sorry, Andrew. Stapleton and Townsley had good battling. So Stuart German's robust moves through the horseshoe.
Yep, we'll see him in the Pre-A final. Townsley battling there with the number 29.
That's Stapleton. And battling quite a bit during that one.
Rob Adlam had a good race as well. We'll see him again in the Trophy B final, looking for a spot. Robert Stapleton had the spin there, which is a real shame for him because he was going very, very nicely indeed. Leaders had some traffic to deal with, but everyone fairly playing their part. Rob Adlam having another go there at Darren Townsley. Didn't quite work out that time around. And here's where it really kicked off with Jordan Salter, not content with second place in the race, went for the move on Ben Bennyworth and took it. Stuart German then went for a similar move up through horseshoe, forced his way in there. Daniel Taylor making his way through as well. So this top 4 providing plenty of entertainment. Stuart German fell off that trio though, ran a little bit wide there, and late in the race, good race here between David Sterling
and the 16 of Johnson, Ben Johnson.
Yep, Ben Johnson. But it was Jordan Salter who took the win in the Pre-B final. We'll see him again in the Pre-A final.
As a man formerly of that super heavy parish, I say well done, Mr. Salter. Good
And
stuff.
welcome
Good
back to Commentary Conservatoire.
Indeed, yes, indeed. We're my cress isn't growing very well in the conservatory. It's not. So I don't know about you, mate. I don't know what to do in terms of layers. Like I'm now a bit warm in the comms box, but it's usually the weather at Clay feels like quite a binary thing. It's either wall-to-wall sunshine or it's chucking it down.
And now it's doing the thing in the middle, which I don't think it's ever done.
No, I don't think
before.
I've ever had this sustained period of meh in terms of weather at Clay Pigeon ever.
Lightweight Pre-A final next. Whilst we've got a little pause, big race this in terms of the championship because you've got Mike Noon there on pole position. He's currently got a 13-point deficit to Chris Woodger. What do you see happening in this one?
Well, I mean, I was talking to Mike Noon earlier
just to point out, Woodger starts P4 in this one as well.
Yes, absolutely. So not too far apart, but Mike Noon seems confident going to these last few rounds, Andrew, and this is certainly where he can give that first blow of the day, as it were.
We talk about drivers having good circuits for them. I know we have our good circuits. I remember racing Mike. The first time Mike appeared on the Club 100 scene was probably about 3 years ago here at Clay Pigeon. So
it was 3 years. He was talking about it earlier.
One of his, the circuits he knows that he comes to, and along with, as you say, this one's a good one for him. Wilton Mill's a good one for him. I can remember he's been really, really strong around there in the past. Yeah. In previous years, racing against him myself. Bookmore's a bit of a favourite for everybody, but it's one of those that because everyone knows it so well, if you can hook it up together, you're good for a good result there. So as I say, 6 races. It really does feel like we're getting into that final stage now. 6 races of this season to go. And for the lightweights, here's the first of them.
Absolutely. And we've got to say as well, as we mentioned earlier today, if you were watching our Clubman and Elites coverage, what's great about this year is that every single class is still open. And lightweights being no exception. The gap's coming in today, 13 points in the in the lightweight, sorry, and off the top of my head, 18 in the heavyweight. So it still is all to play for.
The other point I'll make in this one as well, you've got a driver like Sam Nash. Now, Sam's another one of our drivers who we know very well from the BUKC. We know how fast he is. He's not a championship contender, but boy, is he fast.
He's a disruptor.
And he's a disruptor. He's absolutely. So, you know, there's kind of, he ran very, very well at Rye House. He's won here in this class at Clay before.
Yes.
In previous years. He's going all out. It's kind of a win it or bin it situation for Sam Nash today. So that's got to be playing on the championship contenders' minds. I'll also throw into that same pot James Appleton up there, P3.
Yeah.
Really, really interesting top 10 this.
I
Noon,
think so.
Nash, Appleton, Woodger. Matt Jones we've seen have good races so far. You've got the youngster in Billy Robson up there.
Yes.
Really intriguing grid.
It's a really intriguing grid. I'm going to give a shout out as well, Andrew, to this is a bit of motorsport nepotism, I suppose, but Andrew Ward out there, who raced with us yesterday in the endurances, and he did everything you could possibly ask of him. And anyway, the point is that he's out there now racing for himself.
Yes,
and
he's
we can't muck it up
he's
for
not
him.
having us destroy his races.
Absolutely, but his pace yesterday was great. His consistency was right there, and got a class pole position yesterday in the endurances as well. So he's no slouch around here too. As you say, you've mentioned all the people there. Matt Jones in the mix there, who's also formerly, is that the same Matt Jones who used to race in BUKC?
Not sure.
Not sure about that one, but absolutely, totally agree with you. This is an interesting top 10 going into this first A-grid race in the lightweights.
And to look further down the grid as well, you've got drivers like Adam Wheeldon. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Adam at the moment, because that's now 2 qualifyings in a row where he's struggled to nail it. Now, I'm not going to criticise him because I know exactly what that is like to go through, because those qualifying sessions are so short. But, you know, he's down there in 19th on the grid. We know he's better than that. Now, he raced through at Rye House very, very well. But again, we mentioned it before about how Clay Pigeon, you can overtake round here, but you've got to be really, really precise with your overtaking manoeuvres.
Yep.
We'll see if he can come through. And, of course, John Gooch.
John Gooch, factor from the back. I've got to say as well, spoke to him earlier on, already looking stronger here than I would say he did at Rye House, Bailey Morgan.
Yeah, oh, yes.
How's he going to do in the middle of this one? So many factors in this race. It's a real, going to be a good one, this one.
Right, let's go through the grid then. This is race 15 of the day, the Lightweight Sprint Pre-A final for round 10 of the Club 100 Sprint Championships 2018. On pole position, Mike Noon with a 40.970. Alongside him on the front row is Sam Nash on a 41.094. James Appleton and Chris Woodger are on row 2. Matt Jones and Billy Robson are on row 3. Row 4 is Andrew Ward and Ben Atkinson. Row 5 is Mike Townley and James Fenning. Row 6 is Hussein Rashid and Darryl Snelling. Row 7, Tom McKenzie and Bailey Morgan. Row 8 is Ross Wheeligan and Rob Langthorpe. Row 9 is Daniel Crawley and Matthew Bell. Row 10, Andrew Wheeldon and Tom Matten. Row 11, John Gooch and Josh Adams. And row 12 is Peter Hobbs and George Redstone. We are ready then for the first race. The charge to the title starts here. Mike Noon starts on pole position. It's a really messy start as we go green and racing down into the first braking turn. Are they all going to make it through? There's a lot of bumping and barging in the middle of the pack. Darryl Snelling's nipped through. That's a brilliant start for him as they go through the
over his round.
Oh, and that's a huge pile up. And it was all caused by Darryl Snelling, who span completely on his own through the S's. He took a very, very big hit. But I think
flag out.
And the false start flag is it out? Because I thought it was beyond.
I thought he's showing it. He's now showing it. There is definitely a marshal showing a full start flag out there.
Right.
It's full start. It is full start.
So who was involved in that then? We can check it.
Well, pretty much everybody, because Daryl Snelling span out of third place. Chris Woodger was involved in it as well.
Yeah.
He'll be very, very glad, won't he, to see that the flag's gone out. Look, and let's look at this. So Daryl Snelling hits the curb, spins out completely all by his own, and then chaos just ensues. Matt Jones hits the tyres. Chris Woodger's right in the middle of that, nowhere he can go.
And there's a bad hit for Hussein Rashid in that one. Andrew, the number 12 we saw just getting launched a little bit at the rear.
And I think well, this is going to be a long delay because I think
Rashid is changing cart.
Yeah, the cart is damaged, so he's got to go back to the pits now, get another cart.
Matthew Bell is the other driver who seems unhappy with getting that cart underway. So that was a nasty bit of nasty incident there through the S's, and it's difficult, Andrew, because it is so fast, that series of corners, and the tyres do make it slightly blind through there as well. If something begins, I've had an incident coming out the S's as well, and it's not nice.
Yeah, I can see what the issue with Hussein Rashid's cart is. The front bumper is completely loose.
Yeah.
So that's going to need to be changed. I don't know, James, down in the production van, we can get another look at that replay. This is going to be a few moments before we get this one going again. Now, here we go. So let's look at this start again. So Noon leads. And look, Snelling just loses it all on his own. There's a couple of drivers who take avoiding action. Matt Jones is really lucky.
Yeah.
My goodness me. He hits those tyres. He was nearly wearing them as a hat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, it was BUKC Drivers' Champ here, and I had an incident just a few metres up the road from that. Ended up in the wall and had a shared steering column in that impact. So it really is, when you do a start here, there's 2 points. Can I get through turn 2 okay? Are we okay out of the S's? And if you can make all of that work, generally, you're okay. You'll get round the first lap and all be clean.
Now, the other problem for Hussein Rashid, yes, he's had to change cart now, but he's got a completely cold motor underneath him now that he doesn't know how it's feeling. Because the idea with the A finals is you get a practice beforehand so you can check your cart over. He's got to go into this. Yes, he'll form back up on P11, but he's got no idea what's underneath him now.
We're going around again.
Well, I'm glad to say all drivers okay. That's the most important thing in that one, and I'm going to praise it again because we talked about this a lot at the start of the year. Nobody mounted each other there. In previous years, I reckon you would have seen
we saw
Rashid's carts on top of one another.
The rear of Rashid's cart, as I say, did go up just a little bit, but I agree with you, mate. I think we saw demonstrated there, at least to some extent, the improvements to the bumpers on these Club 100 carts.
Right, here we go then. Attempt 2 for the pre-A final for the lightweights. Much better start. Mike Noon very cleanly away into the lead. Are they all going to get through turn 2 okay? Looks like they are going to into the S for the first time. No, there's 2 off at the back. I think Adam Wielden's one of them. That's big for the championship battle. The rest of them are all through the S's okay, but it's Mike Noon leading here early in this race.
It's Rob Langthorpe and Adam Wielden who were off at turn 2.
So that's 2 drivers who are up in the top 15 of the championship so far this season, so not good for them. And there's another restart. There is another restart.
Restart.
Oh, it's a spin, and Andrew Ward's been pushed round. And
John Gooch is round.
Sorry,
and
so drivers not watching what they're doing.
And so is Dan Crawley. They've all come to a stop there. Andrew Ward clearly unhappy there. Is that just drivers not paying attention to the full start?
Drivers not watching what they're doing. Sorry.
I'm not sure if the drivers are aware that the full start flag at Clay can be shown that late around the lap, maybe? I don't know what that was. But they definitely need to pay attention here. And the challenge here, of course, is going to be Andrew Ward needs to, well, all the drivers there are clearly unhappy to be involved in that. Frustrations can rise, and it's very important that everyone just keeps themselves calm out there.
Right.
We're going to have an extremely short pre-A final.
Well, we are indeed, because that was already 1 minute 5 into a 10-minute race.
Nicky Richardson.
That's Nicky Richardson showing his footballing skills.
Indeed.
Arsenal, listen, sign him up. Sign him up, boys.
Just checking the tread depth.
Yes.
Obviously.
Well, he's also a driving instructor now, so he's
this is important things, you know. Important things. You've got to be able to show them the basic maintenance points on the vehicle.
Do you know what? They're giving me an opportunity to. I wasn't going to make this pun, but being as they keep on having a restart, it's going to be interesting to see this afternoon at Clay whether everyone finishes afternoon. You see, it was worth it. It was worth the 2 full starts just for that. Sam Nash, you can see, of course, with his trademark moustache on the helmet. If you think it's just a white, I don't think even do the Club 100 guys know if we're good to start.
I think we were good for a start.
Just the pusher cart just wants more time.
Was having too much fun driving around the crown.
Absolutely right. We look like we might be good for a start. I'm going to not only keep an eye on the start, Andrew, but I'm also going to check what the clock says here, as there is an indication from the pusher cart driver to keep things calm, as we're good for the 3rd attempt at the start, Andrew.
Here we go then. Run number 3 of the lightweight pre-A final for round 10 of the Club 100 Sprint Championship 2018. Are they all going to make it through the second corner? Yes, they are. Fantastic. Are they all going to make it through the S's? That's a big question. Andrew Ward has a massive slide. Chris Woodger is off, but he's regained on the circuit, but he's lost a lot of positions. That is big for the championship. Chris Woodger is immediately in trouble in this pre-A final.
Yeah, absolutely. That is extremely costly for him.
And John Gooch is off. Oh, it's all of our pre-B winners are all off down at the hairpin. But it's Mike Noon who, for the 3rd time, leads on lap 1. And thankfully, lap 1 has finally been completed. It's a 9-minute race now for them. So Noon leads from Appleton. Nash going up the inside for 2nd place. I can tell you, someone running very, very wide. Oh, and Woodger's off! Woodger is off down at turn 2. Well, it really is a bad race for the championship leader now. There's yellow flags out down at the hairpin. This is absolute chaos in the lightweights today. I think they're going to be getting a bit of a telling off after this one. Mike Noon still leads though, as that's Ben Atkinson going up the inside of, I think it was Billy Robson. Contacts warning for the number 9, Chris Woodger. That's going to be the least of his worries right now, because he is still stranded down at the bottom of Billy's blind. Change for the lead. No, not change for the lead. Is that a driver a lap down?
No, that's
it's George Redstone. It's George Redstone.
Sorry,
he's already a lap down. Mike Noon gets by him.
Yep, you're right. Sorry, mate. Appleton down to 3rd now, behind Nash in the 91. There is your championship leader.
Well,
he's
not now.
Not leading much now, is he? Dearie me. It really has been, so far, a day for the championship leaders in all of our classes thus far, at least, to forget. As look at this battle going on into the horseshoe. This could get tasty. Rob Langthorpe thrown a lifeline in a way by the restarts. Andrew Ward's in there, and Bailey Morgan. Good point.
No, sorry. Bailey Morgan is off. Bailey Morgan is the other driver who was involved in the incident that took out Chris Woodger.
And look at this, side by side. We cut away to our leaders. A good battle happening. I'm going to say that is the Matt Jones who has...
Daniel Crawley is also in the pits, so his race is over. 6.5 minutes to go. I think Bailey Morgan is having trouble getting the cart back into position where the pusher cart can push him away. So his race is run. Here's your battle then. This is over 10th place, isn't it? This is Darryl Snelling and Andrew Ward.
Yes, and further back as well in this, you've got Tom McKenzie, Rob Langthorpe, Tom Matten and Adam Wielden are all battling away here, as side by side goes Andrew Ward with Darryl Snelling.
Yellow flag's still out.
Yeah. So it's got to neutralise that, as there's a penalty for Sam Nash and for James Appleton. Overtaken the yellow.
Back markers.
Ah, guys. That's the basics. So expensive penalty there for Sam Nash, as we're looking at Mike Townley and Ben Atkinson. Sorry, that's Hussein Rashid with the orange helmet. This is battling out over 7th place.
Billy Robson in there as well, who was fastest in the first group of qualifiers for the lightweights. So Hussein Rashid, having had that drama on the first of 3 starts of this one. Andrew Ward has also got past Darryl Snelling on that last lap. What a great drive this is from Rashid, holding there up in the top 10.
Absolutely. Been driving well this season, has Rashid. And having a decent showing here in this battle with Mike Townley, and he's got Billy Robson behind. As Andrew says, as the 47 that's a lap down, isn't it? Because that's going to be George Redstone.
Sorry. Just seen the fastest lap of the race turn up. It's from Josh Adams. What a lap time it is, a 41.120. It's just a shame he's down in 20th place. This just summarised that race. And the 35's going backwards. That's Billy Robson, who's now lost the position to Andrew Ward. Daryl Snelling's going to try and go around the outside. Tom McKenzie's on the inside there. His job today trying to get into the top 10 of the championship. And behind him, Rob Langthorpe. Rob Langthorpe's done well out of all of this.
He has.
He had a poor qualifying. Daryl Snelling now looking up the inside there of James Venning, Billy Robson rather, and he's through. Robson loses a few more positions, loses out this time to Tom Matten there in the 30.
Yep. Well, you say Rob Langthorpe had a poor qualifying. He had a poor first race start to this race. Thrown the lifeline by the full start flag. So there's a track limit warning for Billy Robson.
Now I just wonder, Mike Noon, championship on the brain. I hope he knows Sam Nash has a penalty, because Sam Nash is looking very quick. I'd just let him through. Just let him through.
Heading towards the hairpin now. But Sam Nash holding station as well. He wasn't throwing one up the inside there, Andrew. As we look at the incredible string of cars. Really not a lot of field spread here, which is lovely to see. It means everybody's battling somebody.
The point being here, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Nash is not going to win this race.
Yes,
if Mike
indeed.
Noon ends directly behind him because of his OTY penalty. At the moment, Mike Noon is really racing Matt Jones in that teal green suit. There, you just see him flash through the back of your shot there. What he doesn't want to do is start battling with Sam Nash and losing time to Matt Jones. It would be better to just let him through and then just follow Nash in with 3 minutes to go.
Yep. Agree with you there, mate. But Sam Nash, penalty aside, doing a good job here. Has the fastest lap of the race at 41.0. So we're looking at Ben Atkinson in number 10, or we were just briefly looking at Atkinson, currently running in 6th in a battle with James Venning, and there is James Appleton in the 79 with Matt Jones behind, but of course Appleton has that penalty to be applied. I have to say Appleton was on it with each of the starts.
Yep.
On all of the starts, he was right on the tail of Mike Noon, the pole sitter. Exactly what you need from grid 3. But it's all for naught if you go and do an OTY, I have to say. Now,
the one saving grace, I'm just having a look at the old championship table. The one saving grace for Chris Woodger, and this kind of shows how strong a season he's had. This would be the first time this season Chris Woodger has finished outside of the top 10.
Wow.
In any race, and he's attended every single race. So actually the damage isn't going to be that bad, because effectively Chris Woodger's 7th place in race 2 of round 7 would become part of his championship score. It would be replaced by this race, obviously, where he's going to score, well, nothing, because he's 22nd on the road. So I'll just point that out to anyone following Chris Woodger at home. Here's a battle between Andrew Ward. Andrew Ward looking down the inside of Hussein Rashid. Nothing going there. This is all over 8th place. Just over 90 seconds of this one to go. Move up the inside by Tom Matten there on the number 5 of Rob Langthorpe, battling as well with the number 1 of Tom McKenzie. Well, Mike Noon has completely ignored me. How rude. He's decided, no, I'm not going to let Sam Nash by. I'm just going to pull out a 0.9 second lead over him. Fair play, Mike. Through goes Andrew Ward. He's got past Hussein Rashid. Track limit warning for Ben Atkinson in the number 10. So that is Ward up to 8th place now. And Rashid goes up the inside of Snelling. There's contact there between the two of them. And Rashid, very wise, lets Snelling back through. That was perfectly done in terms of letting someone through, because it meant that Tom McKenzie had no opportunity to nip through as well. 40 seconds to go. And there'll be this lap plus one more. Fastest lap of the race has just gone in from James Appleton of 40.973. This battle raging on now for 9th place. Daryl Snelling in the number 8 in the... Oh, he's run wide. He's run wide. That's going to offer the opportunity to Rashid up the inside and through into the S's. So Rashid up to 9th place now. Snelling 10th. McKenzie in 11th. Here's your 12th place battle. Tom Matten and Rob Langthorpe still fighting there for 13th place, just sitting behind Peter Hobbs. What a drive from Peter Hobbs from the back of the grid, having come through from the B final.
Yep.
absolutely. You said that many of those qualifiers were off at the hairpin on that first lap, mate. The one who wasn't was Hobbs, and he has had an absolute blinder of a race.
This is the last lap now, so leader is coming round the hairpin now. And what a hammer blow this is going to be from Mike Noon against Chris Woodger in terms of the championship. The net gain, I reckon, is going to be it's going to be 13 points.
You mean exactly the gap?
Absolutely. Mike Noon comes round and he now has a shared lead of the championship with Chris Woodger. He takes the pre-A final here at Clay Pigeon today. What a convincing victory from pole position. 3 race starts. He never flinched. He never faltered. And he takes the win ahead of Sam Nash. James Appleton is 3rd. Matt Jones is 4th, but that will become a net 2nd once penalties are applied. James Venning in 5th. Mike Townley 6th. Ben Atkinson 7th. Andrew Ward 8th. Tom McKenzie nips 9th right at the end. I think we just caught it as it came over the line. 10th was, and he did by 0.003 of a second. My goodness me, Tom McKenzie nips it in 9th place there ahead of Darryl Snelling in 10th. For me, I'm going to give driver of the race to Peter Hobbs in 11th from the back of the grid. Hussein Rashid 12th, Tom Matten 13th, Rob Langthorpe 14th, Billy Robson 15th, Ross Wheeligan in 16th, Adam Wielden in 17th, Matthew Bell 18th, 19th for John Gooch. We're now into the drivers who had trouble in that race. 20th was Josh Adams, 21st was George Redstone, 22nd was Chris Woodger, 23rd Bailey Morgan, and 24th Daniel Crawley, a retirement. Now, I mentioned that the 7th place earlier in the season now becomes part of the championship equation of Chris Woodger. The other big impact of that race is it now means Chris Woodger starts the Trophy A final from 22nd on the grid, Howard.
Yeah,
this is not a good day for the championship leader.
No, absolutely. A very good point there. And let's have a look back over the race, Andrew.
Right, this was a start. I can't remember which one it was. I reckon it looks like it was the first one. So this is where we're going to see Darryl Snelling spin on the apex of the S's, and then mayhem ensues here. So this was a false start.
Nobody hurt, which is good. This was the 2nd start, and you're going to see Langthorpe go off along with Wielden.
So that was called as a false start as well, including a couple of drivers getting confused over what was going on when the false start was
I'll confess,
put out.
Mate, I'm not entirely sure why that one was full start. There will be some good reason.
So this was once we actually got racing after race start attempt number 3. Great scrapping in the outskirts of the top 10. Darryl Snelling and Billy Robson involved there. Andrew Ward picked his way nicely through the field. Hussein Rashid had contact with Darryl Snelling, but did exactly what he should do, let Snelling back through in that situation. But Mike Noon, a huge, huge win, not just for himself, but for the championship as well. And by my calculations, has now tied up the championship, going towards the trophy final later this afternoon. This was it. 0.003 of a second. Boom! That's what it looks like over the line between Darryl Snelling and Tom McKenzie. What a race, Howard.
Yeah, really was a very entertaining one, that, and as you say, could prove critical for the championship come the end of the year as our heavyweight pre-A final gets going. And having a few problems getting started there as our championship leader just went out of shot, the 57 of Seb Algeri. In fact, a few drivers having a little bit of trouble getting things underway here. 130 points on offer in the pre-finals, of course. As you know, we need to make clear, if you were watching the Clubmans and the Elites this morning and we're going, well, the heats are worth this much and the finals are worth this much. No, pre-finals and finals. I always think of them more just like Final A and Final B because they get the same number of championship points. So, as we were saying, big blow for Woodger in the lightweights. Now, we wait to see what happens here with the heavyweights. The gap in the championship is 18 points between Seb Algeri and Tim Hill.
And Nick Trafford is third in the championship, not too far behind himself. He's just 5 points behind second place as well. So 23 points, sorry, separating the top three in this heavyweights class. We've also seen wins throughout the year from Stuart Jones, Ben Bennyworth, who has just got through to this Pre-A final by the skin of his teeth. He's sitting fifth in the standings, and he had a win at, oh gosh, I want to say what round it was. It was at Glanny Gauls. He had that win. So that's the current standings at the sharp end of that. Nick Trafford has just pulled into the pits, so I imagine he has elected to have a kart changed. So clearly not too happy. And we did see him just before we started talking about the heavyweights, just as we were finishing off with the lightweights. We did see both Seb Algieri and Nick Trafford having problems getting the karts underway coming out of the pits. So Nick Trafford obviously not too happy with that particular example of Club 100 machinery, and neither is Tim Hill. Tim Hill is going through the pits as well. So guys at the sharp end of the championship here, Andrew, are electing to... they want absolutely the right tool for the job here.
Our resident statistician has corrected me.
Okay.
As Windows 8 has decided to do something interesting. There we go. Sorry, I was incorrect. Mike Noon does not have the shared lead of the championship. Chris Woodger, before that last race, had a 5th place at Wilton Mill as part of his drop score. So the 5th place now becomes part of his
so he is
championship.
Just ahead.
So he's just
by
ahead
2 points.
by 2 points. Which means that 7th place that was on about, that is now his best. No, I'm going to correct myself again. He had a 5th place last time at Rye House, which is still in his dropped scores back pocket. But that's kind of one of the things with dropped scores. We saw it with James Taylor this morning in the Clubman's, who doesn't have this luxury. Just thought, we run through the grid?
Yeah, well, I was going to
finish. Go for it.
Yes,
go for a grid.
let's
I'll
give
come
you a
back
grid
to that
then.
later.
Cool. So here's your grid for the Pre-A final in the heavyweights and super heavyweights class for round 10 of the Club 100 Sprints 2018. Seb Algieri is your championship leader, and he also leads this one away from pole with a 41.248, putting him on pole in the 57 kart. He'll have Nima Opavar alongside on the front row. Good qualifying there for Nima. Tim Hill sits second in the championship standings, and he starts from grid 3rd. Nick Trafford, who sits 3rd in the championship standings, starts 4th for this one on the grid. Miguel Hall, we've seen loads of great battles from Miguel throughout the year. He starts this one from 5th. And Michael Ballinger, who took his first ever round win back at Shennington earlier this year, he starts from 6th. 7th will be Mike Bodner with Stuart Jones alongside. Row 5 on the grid is going to be Mark Turner and Alexander Lamin. Steve Bosley lines up 11th on the grid, and he has our super heavyweight leader Trevor Randall alongside him on the 6th row. Ben Cottle and Lenny Wood, who we spoke to earlier in the paddock, one of our experienced drivers. They make up the 7th row of the grid, and then it's Stephen Netting and Craig Brown on row 8. 17th on the grid is another experienced driver in the Club 100 paddock, Martin Gurnett, and Paul Williams alongside him on row 9. Wayne Dunham and Aaron Stevens round out the top 20, and then come our qualifiers from the Pre-B final. Jordan Salter, Dan Taylor, Ben Bennyworth and Stuart German. It's going to be interesting to see how those guys do from the back of this one. We're good for a start though. Seb Algieri leads them away. Eyes on the lights, engine notes rise, and we're away here. Now, can Tim Hill do what so many third place drivers are doing and follow through to second? Looks like he does. It's not entirely clean. There's a massive slide from Dan Taylor, but they seem to all be through. No, they're not all through, as there's a change at the front. Miguel Hall has got to the head of the field from 5th on the grid. Where did that come from? Nick Trafford's got up as well and is challenging Seb Algieri through the hairpin. 3rd in the championship versus 1st. We've got a driver around at the back. It's the 31 of Craig Brown. And then we have got some drivers off at the S's as well, but it has been called good as a start. And what a start it was for Miguel Hall.
Absolutely. The move, when we watched that back that he did, both on Tim Hill and Seb Algieri, was absolutely fantastic. Opportunistic, but clean.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to see that one back, mate. I was checking to see what any incidents were, because there was a big slide in the mid-pat through turn 2, as I say, from Dan Taylor, but he managed to hold on to it. But yeah, Miguel Hall said that he's had some good scraps
throughout the year, and right now he's put himself to the head of the field here. Nick Trafford and Tim Hill, critically, have both got past Seb Algieri on that opening lap. So second and third in the championship, ahead of first in the championship, and it's all to play for. As there's a track limit warning for Ben Cottle, who's running around in 10th at the moment. So who has had some incidents off of the start then? Nima Opavar had a bad start. Craig Brown, Michael Ballinger and Lenny Wood have all had some form of incident there at the start of that one. We're back with our leaders though. Nick Trafford chasing Miguel Hall, but he's got to be careful because Tim Hill in the number 18 with his lovely medieval style helmet is right with them, as Trafford's going to try and tuck under Miguel Hall, maybe get a switch back here coming into the final corner. He's setting him up nicely and he's going up the inside of the final corner. That was a beautifully planned move for Trafford, but now he's got to have the pace down the straight. Miguel Hall's coming back at him. Miguel Hall round the outside of Billy's blind, and he's going to go up the inside. Brilliant battle. Trafford gets the slide on. Tim Hill's allowed up the inside, and Hill's going to go for the lead. 2 karts through the turn 2 complex. Beautifully done. And now, as well, Seb Algieri managed to get past Nick Trafford. And Miguel Hall tries up the inside of Tim Hill into the hairpin. This is incredible stuff at the head of the field. 2 by 2 heading towards the horseshoe. It's Miguel Hall, Tim Hill, Seb Algieri and Nick Trafford. What a series of corners in the heavyweight field here at Clay Pigeon. That's a joy to behold, and I can't say it's over yet. Miguel Hall leads them round. It'll show that he didn't lose the lead of the lap, but he but he most certainly did towards the start. Tim Hill robustly goes up the inside of turn 2 there. Miguel Hall's out wide. It'll leave him vulnerable to Trafford, but to Trafford, who's got back past Algieri as well there. And Miguel Hall's going to have a look at the inside of Tim Hill again into the hairpin. And Trafford now tries to get past Tim Hill. There's contact. And round there has gone Wayne Dunham, I think that was. And Miguel Hall and Trafford are side by side here through the top part of the crown. Algieri's going to be on the inside of Trafford going through the final corner. And indeed, he gets the job done. The 57 back past the 26. And they've got Stuart Jones and Mike Bodner joining in now. It's effectively a 6-kart battle for the lead of this race. Tim Hill leads, Miguel Hall second, Seb Algieri third, but Seb tries to tuck under Miguel Hall there. It's not going to work. You've got the 66 of Wayne Dunham being bump started here. It's all go here at Clay Pigeon. Really very little field spread, certainly amongst this top 10. And it's anyone's race at the moment. But Tim Hill just getting a slight breathing space ahead of Miguel Hall here, as Hall has to defend against Seb Algieri in the 57. Behind them, this is Martin Gurnett in the 25, hassling the 36 of Mike Bodner. And just ahead of them in 5th place is Stuart Jones, as Algieri gets alongside Miguel Hall again coming onto this lap. But there's yellow flags. They're going to have to sort each other out. Penalty for Ben Cottle, ABC bump and pass. What's the yellow out for? It's Paul Williams has come to a stop. Turn 2. Unfortunate for him. And Algieri got very leery through the S's there. I thought that was going to be a spin, but he was able to hold on to it. But Trafford is back past Seb Algieri
as well.
Stuart goes through. Mike Bodner's in amongst all this now, with Stuart Jones in the 40, Bodner in the 36. The number 4 of Alexander Lamin. These are all on the same lap. This is all battling in amongst the top 10 here. Fantastic stuff, but I don't think Algieri's winning out in this situation, Andrew, because Trafford is, and is there any penalties here? You've got to keep an eye on the penalty board here.
More bad news for Ben Cottle. He's off. Oh, spin! Spin, and who's that going off? I think it's Bosley. Steve Bosley is off.
Yes, it is. It's the 11 of Bosley. Gutting for him.
Now I'd like to see that one again, because there might have been contact involved there through Billy's blind.
Yeah, Stuart Jones went a bit wide out of the S's. Are we going to see this replayed here, Andrew?
Yeah,
so
it's with the number 4.
And it's with Lamin in the 4. And it just, I mean, it wasn't, it's so difficult. You've got to give each other racing room going side by side through there. I give it to Lamin that he couldn't exactly make himself disappear. But it's a tough one for Bosley, certainly. As there's a track limits one for Stuart Jones. Unsurprised to see that, because he went wide coming out the S's, and there is Bosley very frustrated. Meanwhile, Tim Hill, by the way, has been able to get the breathing space of nearly 2 seconds now over Miguel Hall, as Algieri has to defend from Stuart Jones down the back straight.
Ben Cottle, as I was saying, off down at the S's a couple of laps ago, so his race is ruined. Wayne Dunham is also in the pits. Oh, as Lamon gets very out of shape there.
Trevor Randall gets up the inside of him, still our highest place super heavy, and Dan Taylor in the 55 has got past Lamon as well now. This is frenetic stuff in this one, isn't it? As you just mentioned Wayne Dunham, did you, in the pits, Andrew?
I
as
did.
well as there's another, is that a fresh track limits warning for, no, it's the same track limits warning for Stuart Jones. Ben Bennyworth there in the number 2 slowly worked himself up the field in 13th at the moment. So we have over 5 minutes still of this one to go. Tim Hill leads by 2 seconds from Miguel Hall. Then you get Nick Trafford, Martin Gurnett, Mike Bodner, Seb Algieri, Stuart Jones. We're now looking at Trevor Randall and Dan Taylor chasing Stuart Jones in the high-vis helmet and race suit. So that rounds up your top 9. Alexander Lamon in the 4 is 10th.
Just to say as well, as things stand and the way drop scores are coming into play, both these results for Hill and Algieri would count. It would be a net 10-point gain in this race for Tim Hill.
Yeah, and here's Nick Trafford trying to go one better here as well. He's hounding the back of Miguel Hall. Hall had to go defensive into the hairpin with the 25 of Martin Gurnett, who we spoke to earlier, very experienced driver in this field, is also trying to get the better. And there's a penalty for Alexander Lamon for ABC takeout, and that's going to be for the incident down into turn 2, through Billy's Blind and into turn 2 with Steve Bosley. I don't know with that one. It is a scary place for there to be an incident, make no mistake about it. I think I'd have to see that one again, but Stewart's, there's a contact warning for Steve Bosley. Trevor Randall here pressuring the back of Stuart Jones. Everybody's in this difficult situation of attacking and defending.
At the moment, Martin Gurnett, if he can keep this together, it's going to be his best result since Shennington back at round 4.
Yeah, that'll be a really, really good result for him.
Good run this for Algieri. Very good run.
Chasing Bodner in the 36. Got some pace on this car, hasn't he? But Bodner takes a slightly more defensive line. Algieri will try and tuck up the inside into the S's, and indeed he's going to get the job done. Yes, he is. Oh. Nicely done by Algieri.
And what a brave manoeuvre that was by Seb Algieri, because he knows how important that is. And Stuart Jones is now having a little look, and he's going to go through past the number 36 of Mike Bodner as well.
And there's Trevor Randall trying to get in on this in the 43.
Trevor Randall trying to go round the outside. We've seen a couple of people try that today, and well, Randall not quite able to pull it off, but still there, sitting behind Mike Bodner.
Yep.
Start of a new lap then. Tim Hill leads the race by 3.2 seconds clear, as there's more going on here. This is the battle for second place.
And Hall's
this
on
is
the
Hall,
inside.
Trafford and Gurnett.
Yep. And Miguel Hall has, well, he lost it, then got it back immediately, and Gurnett now challenging Trafford. Whilst Trafford challenges him, he's gone the curbs, but it's all okay for now. That could have ended badly, and Gurnett's got through on Trafford. So it did not pay up for Trafford there. That was a little too far back to try that one from, I think. And Trafford goes down to 4th.
Well, it's looking even better now for Martin Gurnett. There's a curb warning for the number 2 of Ben Bennyworth, who's had a good race so far. He's up in 13th, having come through from the Pre-B final. Trafford up the inside for 3rd place, and a great move on the brakes there. Really, really brave. Got down the inside of Martin Gurnett and has got back into 3rd place.
And it's actually one of the rarer things to see, is someone just doing a good old-fashioned under the brakes, on the brakes manoeuvre into turn 2. It's usually on the switchback. And behind them is Algieri still leading this crazy pack of karts with Stuart Jones, Mike Bodner, Trevor Randall and Dan Taylor all in the mix here, and then some, sorry, because Alexander Lamon's on the back of this as well in the number 4.
Well, we
so
know
this is
he has a penalty.
We do know he has a penalty, so he's going to be trying his best to negate that.
90 seconds to go. The lead for Hill is now 4 seconds. He is checked out and gone. This is just what Tim Hill wanted. Oh, a little bit of contact there, and
Miguel Hall onto
Miguel
the grass.
Hall off.
And Gurnett's gone past Trafford as a result, gone past both of them as a result. Well, that, to my mind, Andrew, is a completely fair thing for Gurnett to do, and he's managed to catch both of them napping there.
big lap this for Martin Gurnett now. Can he push hard? Because Hall has got back up ahead of Trafford. And look at it, pulling away, Howard. Martin Gurnett, what a race he's having. He's got a second place earlier in the season at Shennington, where he had an absolute stormer of a day, second and fourth that day. Here he is. Oh,
Around
Stuart
is,
German's gone.
Oh, do you know what? I was about to say, obviously talking to me in the paddock is a good omen with respect to Martin Gurnett, and then we cut over to Stuart German, who also spoke to me. As there's a contact warning for German. It's now become an even bigger battle pack, this one we were talking about, because Aaron Stevens and Stephen Netting have caught up to the back of this battle group from Seb Algeri downwards, and up the inside goes Alexander Lamin on Bodner, and that's going to allow Stevens through as well. Good opportunism there from Aaron Stevens.
And just behind them is the fastest man on the circuit. Stephen Netting is just at the fastest lap of the race of 41.488. So he's cruising up to the back of this. We are on to the last lap now. Tim Hill starts the last lap of this Pre-A final. And look at this. This is Algeri fighting with Stuart Jones. Stuart Jones trying to get through. This contact between the two of them. And Algeri's off. He's completely off the road. He's lost 2 positions.
Oh, there's tyres as well
from Jones.
And Trevor Randall was the big benefactor of that one.
He was indeed. But how crucial could that be for Stuart Jones and Seb Algeri? And look at this. The number 43 of Trevor Randall's getting stuck in there. The super heavyweight.
We have to look to the start-finish straight, though, because Tim Hill is going to cross the line to comfortably take this one. What a critical win that is in his bid for the heavyweight championship. Martin Gurnett will take a very, very respectable second place. Miguel Hall finishes third, Trafford in fourth, and then comes the mad group. Stuart Jones does cross the line in fourth. Trevor Randall is, Stuart Jones in fifth. Trevor Randall sixth, Seb Algeri in seventh. There's Alexander Lamin, Dan Taylor and Aaron Stevens to round out the top 10. Mike Bodner and Stephen Netting. Ben Bennyworth, he did well to come from the back up to finish 13th. Nima Opavar started second on the grid, had a disastrous first few corners, but managed to recover to 14th. Jordan Salter, our winner in the Pre-B final, did well to get up to 15th. Stuart German, we saw have an incident, 16th. Then it's Mike Turner, Craig Brown, Michael Ballinger, Lenny Wood, Ben Cottle, Paul Williams, Steve Bosley, Wayne Dunham.
Let's have a look at some replays then from that Pre-A final here. Seb Algeri led into the first corner, and this is where Miguel Hall just struck it up the inside and took the lead early on. Much cleaner than the lightweights, although there was one spin at the back for Craig Jones there.
Craig Brown.
Craig Brown, sorry. Miguel Hall fighting here with Nick Trafford and Tim Hill. Tim Hill holding it there on the inside and took the lead of the race. Miguel Hall fought back though, up the inside at the hairpin. Seb Algeri there in third, so it was looking good for the championship leader at this stage of the race.
This was an amazing few laps, Andrew, I've got to say. Some of them, there was a robust repass from Tim Hill. But, no harm, no foul as such, and Miguel Hall tried back again into the hairpin.
You just saw a late penalty coming there for the number 42 Stuart Jones. We'll check how that affects the result in a moment. So Tim Hill started to pull out over Hall. Meanwhile, Seb Algeri had this moment, which was crucial for his race. Stuart Jones going round the outside, Mike Bodner going through as well. And then it was just a really, really scrappy race then for Seb Algeri from that. Stuart Jones nearby as well. Here was a big moment for Steve Bosley. Contact with Alexander Lamin, who got a penalty for that one. That put Bosley out of any sort of meaningful contention. Moment for Alexander Lamin again being squeezed there by Stuart Jones, although to be honest I just think Jones didn't know he was there. Jones up the inside of Bodner. This was a bad couple of laps of Bodner, who unfortunately lost places to Trevor Randall and others as well. Battle rages on for second place though. Nick Trafford had a moment on the curbs down into the hairpin. Miguel Hall holding on for now.
That allowed Gurnett through ultimately.
It did.
And this was Trafford trying to get him back. And then this was the battle behind with Algeri and Stuart Jones at the head of that one. This was the moment at the S's where there was a bit of contact and Miguel Hall had to take to the grass, and that allowed Martin Gurnett to opportunistically go from fourth to second. And then that was a battle towards the end between Algeri and Stuart Jones. And then Algeri going out very wide there. Did well to hold on to that, to be honest, because of the lack of grip out there. And it was Tim Hill who came home to take all the points, the 130 points, and that's exactly what he needed, with Seb Algeri finishing still inside the top 10, but not what he needed when the heavyweights are as close as that.
Very quickly to run you through the lightweight B final grid. Keith Segal on pole alongside Lloyd McGoich-Williams, Jack Hounsome and Reese Pope, Alessandro Carloni, Carl Rankin, Charles Jackson, Nick Riddiford, Richard Bamford and Martin Auger. The lights are green and we're racing then in the lightweight B final. 2 spots in the A final available, so 8 of these drivers are going to be very, very disappointed, but it's an early lead, Howard, for Keith Segal.
Yep, absolutely, and they're all through cleanly. It's good to see there as they head down to the hairpin for the first time. Reese Pope having a good little battle there in the midst of the field. But as you say, Keith Segal out in front and Lloyd McGoich-Williams following him through at the moment as the battle for third begins to rage. I think that's Jack Hounsome who's battling with Reese Pope there. Clarify that one as they come round. Smaller field this one, just 10 karts out on track. But you'd be making a mistake if you thought that was meant to, there was going to be less action. Keith Segal then leads them across the line. Lloyd McGoich-Williams in second. Reese Pope is third with Jack Hounsome fourth.
But Pope's just run wide
and
he's lost 2 positions there. Oh, it's up the inside as well. It's got the 34. Great move by Craig Rankin. Now Craig's been very quiet so far today. He's not had a good day, but we know he's got pace.
Yeah, Pope trying to come back at him though. Didn't work there. Good side-by-side action between Nick Riddiford and Martin Auger as well in the 69 and 84 respectively.
So Keith Segal still leading coming to the end of lap 2. Lloyd McGoich-Williams though looks a little bit quicker for me at this stage of the race. Craig Rankin has pulled through into third, and then all the rest of them. Here's the battle between 19 and the 98 over fourth place now. This is Jack Hounsome and Reese Pope. There's your leaders, first and second clear. So if it was to stay this way, Segal and McGoich-Williams would make it into the A final. It'd be quite a big thing for Keith Segal as well. I'm trying to think back when the last time he won a B final was. He had a third earlier in the season. It'd be nice to see Keith Segal go home with a pot, but oh no, he's lost out there and he's made a little mistake. And Lloyd McGoich-Williams is through. Now will Lloyd McGoich-Williams, who had the pace of those who went forward into the A final in the first race, but look, Segal looks like he's going to try and come back here up the inside, but he's not able to make the move stick. And I think McGoich-Williams will start to pull away now. Craig Rankin still there in third place. Hounsome fourth, Pope fifth. They've started to pull away from Alessandro Carloni, who's been out of sorts today. Oh, little moment there for the 19. Jack Hounsome is going to be alongside Reese Pope as they go into the horseshoe. Pope trying to go around the outside there. Nearly running into the dirt a little bit. But keeping Jack Hounsome under a lot of pressure here is Reese Pope. End of lap 3 then. Lloyd McGoich-Williams leads from Keith Segal by 0.7 of a second. But the fastest driver out on circuit at the moment, Howard, is Craig Rankin in third.
Yeah, absolutely. Rankin on a charge.
Oh, spin down at, and it's Richard Bamford who spun down at turn 2. So that's the end of any meaningful confrontations in this race. Oh, wide goes the number 19, and again that's a problem Jack Hounsome had on the previous lap, and that means he's going to lose fourth place there to Reese Pope.
You wanted to know when Keith Segal last won a Sprint B final?
Yes.
2 rounds ago at Lid.
Oh, that makes me look very silly.
That's fine. We weren't
there.
We weren't there.
I was on a sunbed in Florida.
Yes, and I can't remember where I was that weekend. Anyway,
you were at Silverstone for.
I was at Silverstone for the World Endurance Championship. Great shout. Yes. Anyway, whilst we were doing that, Keith Segal was winning a Sprint B final, but at the moment, McGoich-Williams has the bragging rights at the head of this one, with Segal in second. Just got a bit of traffic for McGoich-Williams to deal with in the form of the recovering Richard Bamford. But other than that, there's just a little bit of breathing space now for our race leaders. We're looking back at Charles Jackson, who's in pursuit of the number 18 of Alessandro Carloni. Blue flag being shown to Bamford, just to make him aware that the leaders are there, and he lets them by. So good stuff there as we look to the battle here with Carloni and Jackson. Jackson trying to get a run down the main straight here. Will he try anything into turn 2?
Takes a slightly tighter approach maybe, but nothing on there.
Now the crucial thing here is Craig Rankin is still the fastest driver out on circuit. Now if he can just up the pace a little bit more, he could catch Keith Segal late in this race. 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Last time round he was 2/10 of a lap, 2/10 on the lap quicker than Keith Segal. Keith Segal does a 42.5, Craig Rankin a 42.4, but he is being held up a little bit by the back marker. He's now clear. So it's a bit of a stretched out group at the moment, but there's still a race on here. Lloyd McGoich-Williams pulling away now from the field, bit by bit. I think he's safe. He just needs to see this one home ahead of Keith Segal. But can Keith Segal hold off the chasing Craig Rankin?
They've cut to exactly what I wanted to cut to here, because whilst the field is generally quite spread out, this little pack of 4 karts, Jack Haunsham in 5th, Carloni in 6th, Charles Jackson in 7th, and Martin Auger in 8th in the 84 are the closest on track. And Jackson is looking racy here. He really wants to try and get past Carloni for 6th place. So good little battle happening here. That's the 100 guys just stretch their legs a bit. Important stuff. Shout out to all of the marshals and track officials. As up the inside of Carloni, tries Jackson, but it's not on there, and he's got to be careful pulling that move because it will leave him vulnerable to Auger down the back straight.
Good response this from Keith Segal. He is now holding the gap to Craig Rankin at 2.3 seconds. 5 more minutes of that and we'll see Keith Segal in the A final.
Yep, just set a personal best has Segal, and McGoich-Williams just say that sets the race best of 41.928. So good pace at the front of this field.
Just looking a little bit further down the order, Martin Auger's got up a couple of positions from his earlier grid slot. Here we are looking at number 18 of Alessandro Carloni. This is the battle over 5th place.
Yep, and Auger is on the back of this pack in the 84.
Nick Riddiford is one of his first times here at Clay Pigeon, running in 9th place as well. Not too decent, it's a decent pace as well for a beginner. 44 seconds last time around, 42.772 as well, his fastest lap, and that's not bad. If I think back to some of our BUKC drivers on their first time, I think a 42 would be pretty quick for one of them. So. Yep. Good efforts there from the driver in the number 69.
Craig Rankin sets a new fastest lap though to reel in Keith Segal. In fact, the top 3 all closed up a little bit on that last time around, but Rankin getting ever closer to Segal for 2nd place. Not quite close enough that Segal needs to start worrying, but they do need to keep the pace up here as the battle continues. Carloni up the inside of Jack Haunsham through the horseshoe, and he's got the job done. Nice little move there from Alessandro Carloni, and he moves himself up to 5th place. The important thing for Haunsham is to know, oh, there's a little nudge as they're there on the rear of Carloni, and he goes a little wide. It's going to allow the 14 of Jackson to pull alongside Andrew, and he's got through.
Great move that by Charles Jackson round the outside. Oh, but he's gone deep into the braking zone. He's going to lose out the position again, but what? Oh my goodness me! Carloni just was really slow.
And Haunsham got through.
And Haunsham takes 2 positions in 1 corner. Fantastic from Jack Haunsham.
Yeah, really nice stuff. Really good battle this between these 4 drivers, showing each other good racing room here. And a proper little battle that we're being treated to here in the mid-pack of the B final.
Drivers up at the front of the field going quicker and quicker all the time.
Keith Segal,
pace.
He took 4/10 out the lead though on that last lap, did Keith Segal.
He did.
He's now within a second. DRS would be enabled if we had such things, but we
don't need silly flappy wings to do
flappy
overtakes here.
No, that's Bamford again, isn't it?
Yes, I think you're right. He's not come through Sector 3. That's a shame for the driver in the number 100. And that reminds me, 100. That means we've had 100 people enter the Lightweights Championship this year. There is still time to enter for the last 2 rounds as well. Wilton Mill on the 21st of October. Fantastic circuit. We will be there. So if you want your exploits commentated on and streamed to the world, get your entries in to round 11, www.club100.co.uk for that one. And round 12, Bookmore Park, Sunday the 11th of November. So still opportunities for you to race this season, especially if you're thinking, oh, maybe I'll leave it till next season.
Yeah.
No, get in now.
Get some experience. It's no bad thing. And there are test sessions as well that you can take part in there. So
I remember doing the same. This is going to make me feel old. 4 years ago, was on the grid for the following year. Now that this lead is, it's the lead.
It's coming
is
down.
coming down.
Yep, Segal is on the charge.
Magoich Williams, Keith Segal, trying to make another A final. The gap is now 0.6 of a second. In fact, it'll now be 0.5 of a second, and I think that's less than 0.5 of a second here. I think Lloyd McGoich Williams has thought this race is won. No, he has a little check over the shoulder. Keith Segal is there. It is not won. There is a trophy at stake here for the winner of the B final.
And just when you thought this one may have simmered down a bit, Andrew, in 90 seconds to go, who is going to win this B final?
A cross start finish. The gap is 0.3 of a second, and Segal was 0.3 of a second quicker on that last lap.
Through the S's they go, battle for the lead, and Segal is on a charge here. And for the first time, McGoich Williams feels the need to go a bit defensive into the hairpin here.
But this is the experience of Keith Segal here, and he's going to go for the inside. Can he get the move done? No, he can't quite. But he knows how to pace these races, probably a little bit more than some of the youngsters. And he's really putting Lloyd McGoich Williams under a lot of pressure here. There'll be 2 more laps after this one, because they will cross the line with about 45 seconds on the clock. Is Keith Segal going to have a little look? No, he has half a look there. Actually compromises his line through the long right-hander a little bit.
He set himself up brilliantly here, Andrew. He's got 2 laps to have a go at this one. And one of the most experienced heads in the paddock.
And Craig Rankin won't give this one up either, because if these two come together, there may just be an opportunity for Craig Rankin in the 34 to sneak in right at the end.
Well, this is the question. Does Segal go for the glory, or does he hold on tight for the qualification?
He's going to get a good run down here. Can he pull up alongside Lloyd McGoich Williams as they head on to the final lap of the race? He's not got the straight line speed. I think he's just going to hold position now. Lloyd McGoich Williams, the best thing for him to do is just not defend, just keep driving along as normal.
He was good through the S's though, Andrew.
But Keith Segal having a little look down the inside. There's going to be contact between the two of them. There's a lot of contact between the two of them, and Keith Segal's thought, well, yes, we'll let him back through.
Yeah, but look out for Rankin, Andrew.
Yeah, exactly. Craig Rankin is now closing in. I think it's going to stay as it is. Well, Keith Segal had a go.
He had a good run down the back straight, to be fair to him.
But Lloyd McGoich Williams comes around the final corner. He wins the B final. He takes the B final trophy. We'll see him again in the A final. Keith Segal joins him. Craig Rankin is in 3rd. Reese Pope, good points for him in 4th place. Jack Hounsham with one of the moves, honestly, of the weekend. What a move that was into the S's. Finishes in 5th. 6th place for Alessandro Carloni. Charles Jackson in 7th. Maybe Martin Auger finishing in 8th place. Here he comes, a cross start finish. Now 9th place for Nick Riddiford and 10th place for Richard Bamford.
That, Andrew, was a good little race there. I enjoyed that a lot. Some good battling throughout the field.
Let's have a look at some replays then. Early battle between Reese Pope and Craig Rankin here. That very much split off into a first 2 and the rest of the field. Reese Pope made a little mistake into turn 2, which lost him a couple of positions. Early on, Keith Segal held the lead ahead of Lloyd McGoich Williams, but that little mistake from Segal meant that McGoich Williams hit the front and didn't rescind that lead at all. He wins the B final. More battling going on. Good scrap this, a 4-way battle between Hounsham, Carloni, Jackson and Auger, which saw one of the moves of the weekend. I don't know if we'll get to see it again. Keith Segal did have a go. He really had a strong end to the race, where Keith Segal closed in on Lloyd McGoich Williams. Had this attempt which nearly went wrong, but in the end it was Lloyd McGoich Williams who took the win ahead of Keith Segal. We'll see them in the A final. Craig Rankin will leave Clay Pigeon tonight thinking what might have been. Hello.
Hello. Oh, blimey. Hello.
It's a good job he's dressed. Welcome back to Commentary Conservatoire.
Indeed.
We've got another B final coming up.
Do you know what? I'm really glad you say it's as long as I'm having a proper rave whenever this music is on.
Yes.
As well. If anyone on the balcony has been watching us this weekend and going, what? Those poor men in that comms box, they're going, man, there we go, there's the white balance rave. You're not going to get us to dance on air, though,
No.
James. That's only during the sound checks we do that. And when he's reading the grid and we're not on camera. We hope you've been enjoying the little music we've been putting, by the way, over our grids and such like today. And speaking of which, I'm just getting ready to, if you'll permit me the honour, sir, of doing a bit of a B race grid for your heavyweights.
It's a fairly big one, so shall we?
It's a fairly big grid, isn't it?
Yes.
We've got a nice patch grid in the heavyweights, which is great to see. So I'm going to turn, and yes, they don't get warm up. So let's go through that grid now. Given the battling between these two in the previous race, I'm very excited by this one. Darren Townsley and Barney Langley line up on the front row. Stefan Appleton and Rob Adlam make up row 2. Chris Scivier and David Sterling, there's another very experienced head in the paddock. They are on row 3. Matt Sussman starts this one from 7th with Clifton Malcolm in 8th. Reese Collins and Brad Chambers rounds out the top 10. Vijay Patel starts 11th with Rob Stapleton in 12th. 13th will be Ian Zumhal, and we're already good for a start, so I'll talk you through the rest as we go along. But away goes Darren Townsley at the start of this one, and Langley has had a good start. No, he hasn't had a good start, and they're off. There's 2 off there, but it's and there's several off. Peter Gillett is 1, and it's a false start. So yes, not the start that we wanted from our heavies. Let's have a look at the replay.
I'm going to say this is one of those
Langley.
where the drivers on row 2 and 3 were trying to win the race at the first
Appleton
corner.
there. Appleton lost it. It was Appleton losing it under braking into turn 2. And you know what? Any other day, Appleton might have saved that. But when you're surrounded by that many carts, hey-ho. I tell you what, let's get the grid out of the way. Shall we?
Yes.
Let's go
It's
through
almost
the
like
grid.
they did that on purpose.
Thank you, those of you. It's every race where we don't quite fit it in, they're doing a false start for us. Anyway, Townsley, I trust you, we don't have that level of control. I'll take you through who I already mentioned. Darren Townsley, Barney Langley, Stefan Appleton, Rob Adlam, Chris Scivier, David Sterling in 6th, 7th for Matt Sussman. Clifton Malcolm starts from 8th, 9th for Reese Collins, Brad Chambers in 10th. 11th will be Vijay Patel with Robert Stapleton in 12th. Ian Zumhal will start from 13th, Andrew Cherry in 14th. Andrew Clark starts from 15th, Ben Johnson will start this one from 16th after his spin in the previous race. Be interesting to see where he can get up to. Philip Charman starts from 17th, 18th will be Jeremy Deeks. Peter Gillett will start this one from 19th, rounding out the top 20 will be Keith Evans. James Edwards will start this one from 21st, Simon Madeley will start from 22nd. 23rd will be Andrew McSherry. And 24th will be Mark Appleton. Just a note for you and myself there as commentators, Andrew. There is an Andrew Sherry. I've just done it. An Andrew Cherry and an Andrew McSherry in this field. So that's giving us a little bit of a challenge in comms. Anyway, we're good for the restart. Let's go away here. Darren Townsley leads them away. Although notably the 88 is not in position there of Appleton. Working their way through turn 2 for the first time. There's a bit of contact at the back there with Peter Gillett, and there's a bit of contact with the tyres as well through the S's. Are they all going to make it through? Yes, they are. I did have my heart in the mouth a bit there, but they have all made it around the first few corners, I'm delighted to say. And Townsley has held on to the lead here. Chris Scivier under pressure from Rob Adlam and the 92 of Barney Langley, and it's allowed Darren Townsley to just check out at the front here as they work their way through the top part of the crowd. We've got a driver off in the horseshoe. I can't see who that is from this angle. As they work their way through for the first time, it's Darren Townsley, Barney Langley. Darren Townsley, Chris Scivier, Rob Adlam, Barney Langley, Stefan Appleton, David Sterling, Rob Stapleton. Jeremy Deeks is in 8th, but has just picked up a penalty for ABC bump and pass. And it was Vijay Patel who had the incident and so came to a stop in the horseshoe. We're back with the battle over second place. Chris Scivia in the number 3 is holding on to this one at the moment, ahead of Rob Adlam in the 97 and Barney Langley in the number 92. As the sun comes out over Clay Pigeon, feeling the need to put the old sunglasses on here. Barney Langley looking to get past the 97 of Rob Adlam, who goes very wide in turn 2 and 3, and indeed he will lose out there. And now Stephen Appleton comes up onto the back of them. But Adlam's going to fight back here into the hairpin as he tries up the inside of Langley, but nothing on there, and Langley is able to hold on to the position.
He does indeed. It's good running from him. Still a chance here to go forward into the A final, remember. There's the number 30 of Keith Evans.
Yep.
Who's had challenges today, I think, with this Clay Pigeon circuit, but he's battling here with David Sterling. Having a little look up the inside. Can't quite make it through.
Good little super heavyweight battle going on down the field, Andrew. The battle for 19th place between Peter Gillett, James Edwards and Simon Madeley.
Blue flags now are being shown to the 91, that's Vijay Patel.
Change for second place, sorry Andrew. Langley got past Scivia there through the horseshoe, through the hairpin section indeed, now leading them through the horseshoe. So change for second place there, but the gap is already 2 seconds to Darren Townsley. It's going to take some impressive driving. Not impossible, we saw Keith Segal do something similar in the previous race, but it's going to be a challenge now for these drivers, for Langley to get onto terms with Townsley.
And when you're the leader in this situation, you hope second place start battling, or second, third, fourth start battling for that second place, so you could just eke out a bit of a lead. I remember the first time I was in that situation myself at Lid a couple of years ago. You just want to concentrate on your own race, which when you're in this situation, the guys scrapping for that second place because they know it's the last spot in the A final. Just give you that gap and you calm down and you're getting a nice rhythm, and hopefully for Darren Townsley that's what's going to happen. But to be honest, looking at that last lap, Barney Langley is starting to pull away now, and he's almost pulling the rest of them with him.
Yeah. For those who want to see how to properly celebrate a race win, do go back and look for the replay
up the inside.
That
was contact for David Sterling.
Yeah, and Andrew Clark. And Andrew Clark just had a contact warning on the previous lap, actually. And it's all allowed Clifton Malcolm in the number 93 to go through. So drama there, and also Philip Charman is on the scene in the 37 there, and he gets up the inside of Andrew Clark. So difficult few corners for Andrew Clark and David Sterling. But yes, if you want to see how to properly celebrate a B final win, check out my commentary colleague here, winning it a few years ago at Lid.
Thank you.
I love it, mate. I don't like these, the vanilla vanilla driver win of, oh yeah, I got to the front and won. No, I want them to be wailing with glee.
Yes.
For want of any better phrases. Curb warning for Andrew Clark. Doesn't want to pick up too many of those. Out the head of this field, though, Darren Townsley has lost. The gap is now less than a second at the head of this one, as you say, Andrew. Barney Langley is taking them with him, setting the fastest lap of the race at 41.755, which is not too shabby a pace, I can tell you that.
37's off. And that's going to be Philip Charman, and he was in the battle with David Sterling.
Here are some
as
of the
battle for third place is trying to get through some of the back markers. This is Chris Scivia and Rob Adlam.
There's Vijay Patel, who's done a pretty good job of staying out of people's way as far as I can tell out there. But at the front, we need to look a little further up the road here, because Townsley now has Langley right with him. They just flashed through shot there ahead of the battle we're looking at now of Chris Scivia and Rob Adlam. This is the battle over third, but we do need to keep an eye on the lead. There's a kart, the 37's getting bump started now. Manages to pull out the way nicely there. Good stuff there. But there you can see at the back of shot, the battle for the lead coming through onto the main straight now. Darren Townsley in the 24 versus Barney Langley in the 92. And Townsley feels the need to go defensive here. He just went past one of the pusher carts there, dutifully getting out the way. But
Battle is on for first, and as you can see just behind the battle is on for third between Chris Skivia and Rob Adlam. Into the hairpin they go. Important for Langley to, and this is basically battle resumed from the pre-B final, Andrew, because these two were battling for about 5th place. It would have been in that race as well. So these two have been jostling for position pretty much since the lights went out today, or the lights went green.
Looking at the pace, Darren Townsley is quicker than Skivia and Adlam at the moment. So, again, it's one of those difficult situations of, do you just not battle this situation too much, or do you try and keep yourself in track position?
For third place, sorry, Andrew, Adlam up the inside of Skivia, and he's got the job done.
He does indeed.
There was some
and up the inside goes Barney Langley, and through and past Darren Townsley into turn 4.
Side by side though for the horseshoe. Langley will have the inside line and they'll be able to hold on, but Townsley's going to get the switch back, and he's going to try here, Andrew, round the outside of the crown. That's bold. He's going to have to yield at some point there, and I thought Townsley was going to do one of the very few moves
still
we haven't
fighting.
seen. Side by side. This is a great battle for the lead here. Townsley trying to come back at Langley. Langley stamps his authority there, and there's Adlam now ahead of Skivia for third, as we were saying. Great battling this, and look out for Rob Stapleton getting onto the back of those two battling for third.
And there's track back markers coming into this. Brad Chambers up ahead, so he'll be getting the blue flags in a moment. This is not done for first and second place, because Rob Adlam is starting to break away now from Chris Skivia.
And don't forget, 2 qualification spots up for grabs for the heavyweight A final. So it's that old thing, do you go for the win now, or do you go for the promotion, or do you take the chance? But it's not an either or necessarily, of course. You could take the win and not come to blows and still get the qualification. So how lucky do you feel, really, as they go through?
Back marker does very well to keep out the way. Chris Skivia is fighting back. He's fighting back against Rob Adlam. He'd got right onto the tail of him and lost a little bit through the S's there. That's good from Skivia. He's got to dig deep. He cannot give this up yet. You never know what's going to happen in the next 1 minute and 47 seconds plus 1 lap. You cannot give up the chance of potentially getting into that top 2. Right, let's see what the lap times are like when they come around this time. Barney Langley, cross start finish, and it's a 41.9, but that was with traffic involved.
Stapleton has got onto the back of Skivia though, Andrew, so Skivia now in that difficult situation of attacking and defending. You see Townsley pushing hard through the S's there. And it's Brad Chambers, by the way, the person who's getting out of the way for them. Did a good job of it there. Always the awkward thing if you're a back marker going through the S's. What do you do? And the best thing you can do is exactly what he just did, even though it may have felt a little bit scary. But just keep 2 drivers left, even on the second apex. Much better that than cutting across. Just got a shot of Ben Johnson there, working his way back up through the field. Now up to 8th place, having started, if memory serves correctly, 16th, I want to say, for this one. As this is Chris Skivia being challenged by Rob Stapleton for 4th now. Down the back
Barney
straight.
Langley, sorry Howard, Barney Langley still leading. Darren Townsley though, could he be taking inspiration? He's just pulled out 2/10 in that last sector. His fastest first sector that he's set so far. Leaders will come round to start the last lap next time around. Still Chris Skivia and Robert Stapleton fighting over 4th place. I think they're content now, but that is what that's going to be a fight for. It's not going to be a fight for anything more.
As we're on to the last lap then. But Skivia positioned his car well there in the last sector of the last lap, and but not so well there. There's Stapleton up the inside, and there's through. Did we just say that one was going to? That was Stapleton up the inside there, and lovely move there for 4th place. Can Skivia come back at him? We're going to have to look ahead though, our leaders, because Barney Langley, who's had a brilliant race here, is going to come round the final corner now. Here he is on your screens. He's nodding his head. He's a happy boy here. There is Barney Langley.
Yes.
And he's loving life. That's what we like to see. A little flourish as well through Billy's blind. That's beautiful. Barney Langley takes the win and does exactly what Andrew or I would do. Darren Townsley finishes 2nd and gets that all-important
promotion or repechage, one could say, spot up to the A final. Rob Adlam finishes a very respectable third. Rob Stapleton in fourth, ahead of Chris Scivia by how much? 0.2 of a second. Stefan Appleton in sixth. Andrew Cherry in seventh. Ben Johnson in eighth. Keith Evans ninth. 10th for Jeremy Deeks. Then it was Mark Appleton, David Sterling, Clifton Malcolm, Andrew Clark. The highest of the super heavy finishes within that race. There are some in the A final. James Edwards in 15th. Then it was Matt Sussman, Rhys Collins, Simon Maiden, Andrew McSherry, Peter Gillett rounding up the top 20. Ian Zubhul, Vijay Patel, Philip Charman and Brad Chambers.
The was for another very close finish. David Sterling beat Clifton Malcolm by 200ths of a second. Let's look at some highlights then from this one.
This was the full start.
Yes.
That was Appleton, Stefan Appleton, was to say. There were two Appletons in the field, but just got the braking a little bit wrong and led to the full start. But once we got underway, there was some good battling. Here was Robert Adlam having a battle with Chris Scivia early on. And Barney Langley at that point was in fourth place in the 92. David Sterling there, a little unhappy with some of the conduct out there. Andrew Clark and David Sterling had this battle, but it all got a bit out of shape for both of them, and allowed the 93 of Clifton Malcolm up the inside of both of them. Meanwhile, back towards the front, this was there was the 37. Do you know, I made the same noise then as I did when it happened. That was Philip Jarman coming to a stop. This was Chris Scivia and Rob Adlam battling throughout. And a nice little move from Adlam there up the inside. Here was the move for the lead, though. Barney Langley wound in, reeled in Darren Townsley. And then this was the move for the lead of the race. Nicely done by Langley, and then positioned himself well. Good driving by both, actually, because this was Townsley trying to come back, and that is perhaps the most valid attempt I've seen to come back around the outside of the crown of the Clay Pigeon circuit. This was the battling between Stapleton and Scivia. That was good, but it was this man, Barney Langley, and this is what we like to see. Genuine happiness. You can see it in his eyes as well. That's lovely stuff. Barney Langley taking a well-deserved victory here in the B final at Clay Pigeon in the heavyweights.
We've got some comments that have come in, so hello once again. The sun's back out, as you can see. The aviators are back, which I know everybody enjoys.
That's because the sun, look at this, the sun is on our faces. It's
my eyes. Yes, we've had some comments come in. Keep the comments coming in on the Facebook stream, and keep sharing it as well, because of course we're now going into our Trophy A finals before the end of the day. And keep and for folks, families maybe watching this, tell your respective drivers to share it as well, because the stream is available on demand for free on the Club 100 Facebook page for you all to watch when you get home. So keep sharing it as you all go home this evening and go through your week.
Absolutely, absolutely. We really do love being able to bring you this level of coverage this season. So let's get talking about it. Let's really get out there and show people what's going down here at Club 100.
Let's talk about this lightweight sprint A final then. So the A final set, the A final grid, I should say, is set by the race result from the pre-A final. Apologies, I miscalculated. Chris Woodger had a fifth in his back pocket that was being counted as a dropped score before the start of proceedings today. That is not the case anymore. So the net change of points was 11 points. He has a 2-point lead effectively as we go into this one. But you've got to think, Howard, at this stage, Chris Woodger finished the last race in 22nd place. He starts this next one in 22nd place. His championship rival, Mike Noon, started on pole last time out, won it, so he starts on pole again. I think we're going to be seeing Chris Woodger using up another one of his drop scores here. So this is a massive opportunity for Mike Noon as he heads out to the circuit to go and get another 130 points that will put him in the lead of the championship as we head to Wilton Mill on the 21st of October.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more, mate. And the opportunities today that have been given to, it just seems to be a theme, only in the heavyweights where Algieri's sort of,
well, even still,
even there, it's not been perfect, has it? Every single championship leader today, right through the clubmans, the elites, the lightweights, and the heavies, has had a difficult day. And it's really been fascinating how that's applied throughout. You know, we came in today going, well, all of these classes are close, you know, but we go away going, well, all of them are now closer.
Well,
one of them's changed the lead.
Up.
One of them's tied, sorry, yes.
Well, I can see the Tim Hill, Seb Algieri one being a point here, a point there by the end of the day.
Hill led the championship early on and has been in there throughout. So that's, you know, as you say, that one could change hands.
So drivers heading out now on circuit for their practice laps for the A final, checking the karts over, making sure they're all okay before they partake in this final race of the weekend for these drivers. As I say, very interesting grid this one, which reflects the result of the previous race. That was the lightweight pre-A final that we saw earlier. Let's get it over and done with. Let's go for a grid then in this one. Round 10 of the Club 100 Sprint Championships for 2018. This is race 19, the lightweight sprint A final. Mike Noon going for the championship lead at the end of proceedings this evening. Starts from pole position. Alongside him on the front row is Matt Jones. James Venning and Mike Townley will be on row 2 as a result of penalties for Sam Nash and James Appleton in their first race for overtakes under yellow, so they will start from row 3 in 5th and 6th. Row 4 is an interesting one. Two of our experienced drivers in this class, Ben Atkinson in the number 10 and Andrew Ward in the number 2, will start from row 4. Tom McKenzie and Darryl Snelling had a good scrap in the first race. They will start this one from row 5. Peter Hobbs charged through the field, having come through from the pre-B final. He starts this Trophy A final from 11th. Hussein Rashid, is alongside him on row 6. Tom Matton and Rob Langthorpe start on row 7. Billy Robson and Ross Wheeligan will start on row 8. Adam Wheeldon and Matthew Bell will start on row 9. John Gooch and Josh Adams, who've been close to each other all day. They came through from the pre-B final. They had an incident on lap 1 of the eventually restarted pre-A final, so they'll start again alongside each other, this time on row 10 in this one. George Redstone and Chris Woodger start on row 11. Bailey Morgan and Daniel Crawley will start from row 12, and then our two drivers through from the lightweight sprint B final, which we saw earlier, Lloyd McGoich Williams and Keith Segal, start on row 13, a 26 kart field.
Absolutely. Don't mind me.
What are you looking at there?
I was just thinking the rave music there. I'm pretty sure it's Rob Austin in the British Touring Car Championship has a fan club who put on like rave music on the parade lap, on the warm-up lap, and just start dancing. If anyone's ever been to a BTCC round and know what I'm on about, they make everybody smile. They all dress up in like green wigs and stuff. They're the Rob Austin fan club. It's great. Anyway, we need one of them. So I hope someone out there knows what I'm on about. Anyway.
Well, probably not, because they're probably all watching the BTCC.
I'm watching the BTCC now. Don't say that. No, that's fine. I'm watching it on recap. No one spoil it for me. Right. So we've got trophies to decide here anyway. And of course, that is the difference. Not only 130 points up for grabs, Andrew, but some big shiny trophies as well.
That's not too cute to go and watch the BTCC final. We've got bigger things here as they see the lights go green. And Mike Noon, what can he do? Can he get another good start as he charges into turn 2? It is a good start for Mike Noon. And once again, he's got a probably 5 kart length lead as he goes through the S's for the first time. Oh, James Venning is off and cuts through the middle of the pack. Darryl Snelling does well to avoid him. Hussein Rashid did as well. And just about they've all got through the first couple of danger points without anybody being off, and they've got through the hairpin as well.
Yeah, good to see. Bit of drama, but not too many tears out there after that first lap. Still 2-3 abreast into the latter part of the lap. Finally will sort themselves out to single file, as you pretty much have to do to go through the top 2 corners and come back down to start a new lap.
End of lap 1 then. Mike Noon has an 1/8 of a second lead over Matt Jones in second, but Ben Atkinson has flown up to third, but he's just lost that position to Sam Nash. Andrew Ward has had a good start as well in 5th. Peter Hobbs is up to 6th after lap 1. What a start.
It's a ridiculously impressive start from Hobbs. And you know what's critical, Andrew? Woodger down 1 place on that first lap. He has not had the dream first lap charge that he needed here, so it's going to be a hard slog now for him.
Well, the thing with Chris Woodger, because he knows if he gets anything kind of, outside of the top 10, it's going to be a drop score. He may as well just go for it in this one and see what happens. And here's a battle between Atkinson and Andrew Ward. Andrew Ward has been strong here all weekend, but he's unable to get past Ben Atkinson there for 4th place. He's got Peter Hobbs right on his tail there as well in the 97. They're 3-1. Oh, there's going to be contact here for Tom McKenzie through the S, as I just saw off screen, but he survived.
Yellow's out for a kart that's off down at turn 2, and it's Begoich Williams.
It is.
It's our winner from the B final. So disappointment for him.
But he has a nice pot to take
He does
home.
have something to take home. He won a race.
Mike Noon continues to lead then. The gap is still 0.8 of a second as they come over the line. But Sam Nash is flying along here, but he's going to have to lift off for the yellow flag.
Ben Atkinson just had a dodgy last part of that lap as well, because Andrew Ward and Peter Hobbs both got by. You can see they just flashed through the screen there as we cut back to Matt Jones and Sam Nash.
Begoich Williams running again now, but here's your battle for second place. Sam Nash had a great run out of the final corner. Had it not been for the yellow flag, he probably would have been in second place now. Can Sam Nash, I'm pretty sure he's a race winner around this place as well in the BUKC. He's won rounds of the lightweights here before in previous years.
Yep.
Trying to find his way past Matt Jones. Andrew Ward starting to pull away now from Peter Hobbs, who's continuing to fight with Ben Atkinson. Ben Atkinson has half look down the inside, doesn't make it stick there. No way through on the exit of the corner as well. Oh, was that Mike News? No, it's a change. Second place. Yep. Sam Nash is through and past Matt Jones.
It was into the S's, Andrew, the textbook move we've seen all day. I love this comms box, mate, but we had sun on our laptop screens at the start of the day, and now it's in our eyes as well. But it's casting some lovely shadows, actually. It's looking lovely out there, out on track here at Clay Pigeon.
Long way in this one to go. Thumbs up to Mike Noon from some of his teammates on the side there.
Tom Matten battling with Hussein Rashid we're looking at here.
Gap is still 0.8 of a second. Although Nash was ever so slightly quicker on that last lap. Matt Jones still there in third. Andrew Ward continuing to just start to bridge a gap. He's got a chance here. He's got a chance of a podium. He had bad luck last time out at Rye House.
Track limit warning for Chris Woodger, Andrew. He doesn't want to get too many of those.
Up the inside for 5th place. Ben Atkinson fighting Peter Hobbs. Can he get the move done? Oh, he forces him wide. That was great from Ben Atkinson, who was second last time out in this race at Rye House. And he's through there, up into 5th place.
I'd say that Chris Woodger is in the danger zone here, Andrew, because you're about to see this string of cars.
Oh, my goodness
He's in amongst this lot. And
John Gooch is in there as well.
Yeah, and this is danger stuff for Woodger. You could just see him there as the penultimate kart in this pack, trying to work his way through.
He's got to get on with it here if he wants this race to be a point-scoring race. At the moment, it's not going to be, and he's going to use up one of his drop scores.
I think he's just got past Ross Wheeligan in the 74.
I can tell you also that Peter Hobbs is fighting back against Ben Atkinson. Here's John Gooch, your winner last time out. This is just a show of how competitive this class is. The winner from last time out at Rye House is at the moment down in 16th place here at Clay Pigeon today.
Absolutely. John Gooch in the 13. Chris Woodger, there he is in the number 9. As there's a track limit warning for Sam Nash in second place.
Here's your battle over, and Peter Hobbs is trying to find his way back through, and he has fought his way back through. Past Ben Atkinson for 5th place.
That was bold. That was a very bold move there. Matt Jones, by the way.
Oh, sorry, Howard. Running wide. Noon out of the horseshoe. He's lost a lot of his lead to Sam Nash.
Yes, he has, as this pack goes into the horseshoe. This is Tom Matten in the 30, Josh Adams in the 88, and John Gooch in amongst this one. So, mad battle back in the middle of the field, and it's just all closed up. And Sam Nash set the fastest lap of the race to boot as well, Andrew, of 41.039. It's battle resumed at the front here, going into the hairpins of the leaders. Mike Noon's under pressure here.
Sam Nash is on fire. He's just taken the fastest lap. He's just done the fastest Sector 1, and he's all over the back of Mike Noon now as they go through the horseshoe and into the crown. This will be lap 9 being complete here. He could have a really good run. Can he get a good exit out of the last corner? Not too much curb. He's in the slipstream now. He jerks out to driver's right. Is he going to have a little go down into? No, he's going to think about it a little bit longer. Oh, but Mike Noon makes a little mistake, and that's going to be up the inside into the S's, and he's through. Sam Nash is through and takes the lead here at Clay Pigeon in the lightweight A final.
Now, Noon won't like that, but bear in mind he still has a key advantage here over Chris Woodger, his rival in the championship. And what he doesn't want to do, Andrew, is throw that away, because Woodger is still working his way up through this difficult pack from about 11th downwards. Woodger has only got up to 17th. Currently, although he has got past John Gooch in amongst all this. But
Matt Jones still there in 3rd place as well.
Yeah, and Andrew Ward having a slightly lonely one at the moment in 4th.
If Matt Jones was able to finish this, it would be his 7th podium of the season. He's had a very, very strong year, and he's got good circuits for him to come.
Snelling up the inside of Venning here, Andrew, and Rob Langthorpe's there as well. Nice move from Snelling, got the job done, had a good run there, but James Venning is going to try and come back at him in the hairpin and gets the job done. Rob Langthorpe tries to follow through. Snelling's at risk of getting boxed in, which he does.
Oh,
and it's, oh, dearie me, they all run a bit wide there. That's allowed Mike Townley to get onto the back of this as well.
Penalty for, I think, the outgoing championship leader, Chris Woodger. I mean, we did say he's going to have to go for it. He's going to have to take risks. He has clearly taken risks because he's got an ABC bump and pass penalty for contact with Tom McKenzie. That is Chris Woodger's day done.
Yeah. ABC being advantaged by contact as Rob Langthorpe puts a cheeky move there on Darryl Snelling into the S's. But as Snelling goes off into some other county there at the hairpin and allows Mike Townley through as well. So Snelling just needs to stay calm there. Here's Chris Woodger in the number 9 in amongst these carts, but he has got an ABC penalty to be applied. We've got a driver off in the horseshoe, Andrew.
Yeah, I can't quite make out who it is. Yes, I can. It's George Redstone, who's not come through Sector 2, shall we say.
Yeah, and taking a bit of time to right his cart the right way around here. Okay, yeah, the pusher's trying to start you from there. Okay. Difficult way to start, though, because he's in some ways going against the flow. He'll need to steer a very hard right.
Chris Woodger up the inside of Hussein Rashid. Oh, and contact there. And I think that will have been Matthew Bell who spun out there. Tom Matten was nearly taken out as well. But that was a driver error completely by themselves. Tom Matten trying to make his way past the championship leader, Chris Woodger.
Yellow's out down at 2, Andrew. Someone's stationary there.
2 carts stationary, in fact. And I think one of them is Tom McKenzie.
It was Matthew Bell who was stationary at the hairpin. Good spot there. We're still looking at this battle between Woodger and Matten and Rashid coming down the back straight. Oh, there's a little touch on the rear of Woodger by Matten. This is the battle over 13th place. And Hussein Rashid tries to go up the inside of the horseshoe. He gets Matten done as there's a penalty for Matten as well. So Hussein Rashid is the only driver there who hasn't got a penalty. And there's contact as well from Matten on Rashid. Quite a robust battle this. John Gooch in the background. We look further up the field. That's Adam Wheeldon.
He's had a very quiet day, but it's similar to what he did at Wright House. Hope he can get the qualifying sorted out at Wilton and Buckmore later in the autumn, because his race pace is still really, really good. One of the best drivers in terms of racecraft that we have in this field. 1 minute 44 to go. We need to keep our eye on the second place battle, because Matt Jones is just reeling in Mike Noon ever so slightly. This one is not over. In terms of the regulars, Mike Noon is still in the lead. Remember, Sam Nash is not a part of the championship battle, so he's here for the glory more than anything, and I think a bit of BUKC prep for later in the autumn. Up the inside there of Adam Wheeldon is Adams. Great move that by Josh Adams.
I've been massively impressed by Josh Adams today, Andrew. Still a relatively inexperienced Club 100 racer, but he's really It's shown a fresh pair of heels to a lot of drivers today.
Traffic for the leaders. It's Rob Langthorpe who had issues earlier in the race. He lets Sam Nash by. 58 seconds of this one to go, so there'll be this new lap that the leaders are starting now, plus one more. Sam Nash still leads for Mike Noon. Mike Noon is set to take the championship lead away from Clay Pigeon here tonight. Matt Jones is third, another penalty for Tom Matten. Andrew Ward fourth, Peter Hobbs still fighting brilliantly there in fifth place, ahead of Ben Atkinson in sixth.
It's a pretty good result for Andrew Ward, has to be said. He's not had the rub of the green on all occasions. But
and of course, when you look at this is going to be important for his championship as well. Mackenzie down the back, Langthorpe down the back. You know, he's got this target of finishing in the top 5, and at the moment, this is a big step towards it. Sam Nash then goes on to the last lap of the race in his 91 kart. He's just got about another 30 seconds worth of driving to close out another victory here at Clay Pigeon. Mike Newton's still there in second place. I think he's happy to just, in fact, no, Rob Langthorpe does well, jumps out of the way. There is Mike Noon, first and second place. That's pretty good, and it's going to give him the championship lead, even if Matt Jones is able to get past him in the last couple of corners. But I don't think that's going to happen, because round the final corner, here comes Sam Nash. He loves this circuit. He loves these karts. Sam Nash wins round 10 of the Lightweight Sprint Championship in 2018. He takes the win by 1.5 seconds ahead of your new championship leader, Mike Noon. What a day for him. He will head to Wilton Mill in a few weeks' time with a lot of confidence. Look how happy Sam Nash is. Third place for Matt Jones. Another podium for Matt Jones. Andrew Ward takes fourth. Fifth place for Peter Hobbs. Sixth place for Ben Atkinson. Seventh for James Venning. Eighth for Josh Adams. So two drivers who raced through from the pre-B final finished in the top 10. That's very impressive. Ninth place for Daryl Snelling. 10th was Mike Townley. 11th for Adam Wielden. 12th for Billy Robson. 13th in the end for Chris Woodger. So that is a drop score irrespective of penalties. So confirms for me that Mike Noon is in the lead of the championship now. 14th for Tom Matten. 15th John Gooch. 16th for Hussein Rashid. 17th for Ross Wheeligan. 18th for Bailey Morgan. Good result that for Morgan. 19th for Keith Segal, who came through as the last repechagee from the B final. Daniel Crawley in 20th, Matthew Bell in 21st, 22nd for George Redstone, 23rd Lloyd McGoich Williams, 24th Tom Mackenzie, and 25th Rob Langthorpe.
There were thumbs up from all the top three there on the cool down lap. That was lovely to see. Let's have a look back over it.
Really good A final. Mike Noon got a very good start.
Just James Venning, wasn't it, taking to the grass there on the first lap, but otherwise okay.
Sam Nash had to work for it though. Here he had to get past Ben Atkinson, who had a cracking start up to third early on, ran a little bit wide. Sam Nash got underneath into the S's. Peter Hobbs and Ben Atkinson, fantastic battle this throughout the race.
What a drive Hobbs has had today.
Absolutely. Ben Atkinson initially took the position. Hobbs would of course fight back. Story of the day though, some of the drivers we'd expect to be a bit further forward. John Gooch, your Rye House winner, was down in amongst it, and at the back of that was your former championship leader, Chris Woodger. Here was the move for the race though, where Mike Noon, I think he just clips the curb there just a little bit, just allows Sam Nash to get underneath and take the lead. Sam Nash taking another victory here in Club 100 Machinery at Clay Pigeon. Daryl Snelling and James Venning had good fights as well. Rob Langthorpe in the end was taken out and ended at the rear of the field. Venning up the inside of Snelling here at the hairpin. And this was good battling between drivers who've improved. One racer's taken podiums this year as well. Daryl Snelling running a little bit deep there, losing a position to the number 92 of Mike Townley. Chris Woodger had to go for it. He had to go for it. If he had stood any chance of gaining points out of this one, there's contact there. Hussein Rashid and Tom Matten nearly being taken out by Daniel Crawley. Matthew Bell. Penalties for Woodger and Matten in the end for forceful moves. Hussein Rashid an innocent party. one of the drives of the day has to go to Josh Adams, who came through from the Pre-B final and got it in the top 10 at the end. But it was the day for Sam Nash, and a good day as well for Mike Noon, who, as I say, takes the championship lead. And Sam Nash, that's what he came here to do. Not a championship contender, he came here to win. And that's exactly what he did, Howard.
Absolutely. And as you said, I love this little fist bump. Do you know what? They've just demonstrated there what happened to me once. I did a fist bump once and damn near crashed the cart at the end of a straight at Wilton Mill once. So it looks easy, but it's not. But yes, absolutely. Great race there. Sam Nash, as you say, doing what he came here to do and setting himself very nicely for the BUKC, which we'll give a small shout out to. If you're in a part of a university kart club, the qualifiers are coming up. So make sure that you're all prepared for that. And if your university isn't part of the BUKC but has a kart club, why not? And if your university doesn't have a kart club, why not? Form one now. As Stuart German gets underway from the pit lane. And the push. Oh, is this a transponder?
Transponder issue.
Oh, dearie me. So that'll need a bit of a fix. But we're just on the warm-up laps now. We've just seen some very interesting things going on in the championship in the lightweights, and well, what could happen here in the heavies? We have another situation where the leader of the championship starts down the road from the. He does start 7th indeed, behind Tim Hill, who is our pole sitter, and 3rd place in the championship as well. Nick Trafford starts this one from 4th. So all very, very interesting going into this one.
I know I've been harping on about these all day, but dropped scores. Chris Woodger is an example of this. It's been a bad day, but at least he got the scores nice and early in the season that actually the net difference hasn't been that bad. He still has a very good chance of winning the championship. Here in the heavies, you've got a bit of a different situation. Seb Algieri has some good scores in his back pocket. You know, he's already used up a 6th today. He's got a couple of 8s in there as well. So, you know, finishing kind of 7th, 6th wouldn't be the end of the world. Tim Hill, though, is a very intriguing character in more ways than one. In this context, he's very much used up all of his drop scores. Now, you get 6 of the things. 2 of them have gone for a round where he wasn't able to join us at Shannington. But he's also had a 23rd, a 24th, a 22nd and a 13th, which currently, if we were to end the championship right here, right now, would be his other 4 drop scores. Now, the thing is that means for the remaining 5 races that Tim has to do between now and the end of the season, this one coming up now, the 2 at Wilton, the 2 at Buckmore Park, he's not really got much wiggle room. He's not got much margin for error, because if he has another bad score, anything 13th downwards, it starts having those scores that are currently drop scores, they start counting if you get my drift. But similarly, like a 12th, for example, okay, not a disaster, but that would end up being automatically straight as part of his championship effort. So Tim's exactly where he needs to be. He's on pole position. He's not going to fight his way through, but he's got to be really, really careful and make sure he doesn't get involved in things that get taken out or have anything of that nature.
Absolutely agreed. Let's take you through the grid.
Yes.
For this, your final race of the day, by the way.
Final race of the day.
Sad times. For the heavyweight A final. So, Tim Hill, as Andrew was just saying, 2nd in the championship, starts this one from pole. Martin Gurnett starts this one from 2nd. If he can get on the podium today, I don't think he's been doing this a long time. He certainly hasn't been on the podium since 2016 in the heavyweight. So this could be a massive opportunity for Martin Gurnett. Spoke to him earlier today, and he was talking about how, well, you know, this might be his last year. Hanging up his helmet, what a great result that would be. Miguel Hall starts from 3rd on the grid. Nick Trafford, 3rd in the point standing, starts from 4th. 5th is Stuart Jones with Trevor Randall, your highest placed super heavyweight, in 6th. 7th is your championship leader going into today, Seb Algieri. Dan Taylor starts from 8th.
Aaron Stevens starts from 9th with Mike Bodner rounding out the top 10. Then Stephen Netting and Ben Bennyworth on row 6. Row 7 is Nima Opavar and Jordan Salter, Stuart German and Alexander Lamin make up row 8. Row 9 is Mark Turner and Craig Brown. Michael Ballinger and Lenny Wood round out the top 20. Row 11 is going to be Paul Williams and Steve Bosley, and then it's Wayne Dunham and Ben Cottle on row 12. Rounding out the 26 carts are our 2 repêchages. That's the word that the regs use. I love that word. The 2 promoted drivers from the B5 anyway, Barney Langley and Darren Townsley, who have both had a very nice day, very good day at the races. So, that is your grid for the last race of the day, the Sprint A final. I think we're going to be good for a start here. Tim Hill will lead them away with his shiny medieval designed lid there. Eyes on the lights, engines notes rise. Away we go in the heavyweight Sprint A final at Clay Pigeon. Ben Bennyworth getting up on the curb a little bit through Billy's blind. Will they all make it through the first few corners? Yes, they will. What about into the S's? Tim Hill's held on to it as they go through. Miguel Hall takes to the grass, not for the first time today, through the S's and has lost out big time there. Nick Trafford's had a good start up to third, as has Stuart Jones, and round goes the 40. Not the 40, sorry, it's that's not Trevor Randall. Who's went round there? I'll have to keep an eye on that one as they come round. It's called good as a start, though, even though it wasn't fully clean. We're looking at Paul Williams.
Nima Opavar, Jordan Salter, Alexander Lamin and Michael Ballinger have not come through Sector 2.
Disappointing for them, and it's Ballinger's second incident of that nature of the day. So it's been a 1-2 forget, I'm afraid, for Michael Ballinger, as the penalty is given to Nima Opavar.
Oh, that's one I've not seen before. Penalty, Nima Opavar, APV, takeout times 4.
Taking out 4 drivers, that's quite a big penalty. That's, I would imagine, a disqualification, if we're reading that correctly. Here's the top 3, though. Tim Hill, Martin Gurnett, and Seb Algieri. And Algieri doing what he needs to do here, Andrew. He's got to the head of the field. In fact, what happened to Nick Trafford?
He's in 9th place.
Okay. Penalty for Steve Bosley for advantage by contact, bump and pass. But the top 3 here, Martin Gurnett's under pressure from Seb Algieri. Martin Gurnett, effectively your disruptor in amongst the championship battle here. And Algieri's going to try and get alongside Gurnett here. Gurnett will have the inside line for the horseshoe in the 25 car. But Algieri is looking to get past here so that he can begin hounding Tim Hill here, basically, in a straight championship battle. Stuart Jones with them in the number 40.
Across the line to end lap 3 then. Tim Hill still there, ahead of Martin Gurnett, Seb Algieri. This is crucial for his championship. Up now into 3rd, Stuart Jones. He's been so strong this season there in 4th.
Contact warning coming in for Algieri, Andrew. Doesn't want to pick up too many of those.
No, a penalty in terms of 4 positions is normally if too much contact is adjudged to have been done by a driver from race control.
Miguel
cannot afford that in this race.
No, Miguel Hall catching up to the back of these top 4 as well, looking to make it a 5-cart scrap for the lead of this one. Quick look over the shoulder from Tim Hill, though. Although the gap's not that big, you feel, I mean, Hill is... It's 2 very experienced drivers at the head of this field, actually, Andrew.
It is indeed. Seb Algieri having a little look at Martin Gurnett, thinks better about it.
On the screen, we were looking at Aaron Stevens having a go at Trevor Randall there for 7th place. Didn't quite work out for Stevens as we cut back to the leaders.
Just to remind you, with the points, 130 points in the championship for a race victory in this one. 127 if you finish 2nd, 124 if you finish 3rd. If the championship picture was to finish as it looks right now, I reckon Seb Algieri would have a 2-point lead, or there or thereabouts, going into Wilson Mill in a few weekends' time. But Miguel Hall, I've got to say, is looking very, very racy. Howard there in 5th place, just behind Stuart Jones in 4th.
Yeah, I said he was trying to make this a 5-cart battle at the front, and he has. And meanwhile, behind them, we just saw on screen Trevor Randall getting past Dan Taylor for 6th, as Miguel Hall's trying up the inside of Stuart Jones at the hairpin, gets the job done. Nicely executed move there for Miguel Hall.
And
so changes in amongst the top 10
it's
here.
a huge chance for Miguel Hall. He's not had a podium since Buckmore Park round 1. He took a third.
Currently sits 9th in the championship. He just has a style of driving, does Miguel Hall, Andrew, where he seems to... I find him a really interesting driver to watch. He just always seems to be having very interesting battles. He tries out interesting lines. I just find him very good to watch. Anyway, Martin Gurnett having to go defensive somewhat to Seb Algeri here. Deja vu from the first couple of laps. But I think Gurnett will hold on around the outside unless Algeri can hold on. He's not going to.
It's a shame because Gurnett actually had a little rough run through the S's. He was on the attack against Tim Hill. Tim Hill has a little check over the shoulder, sees Gurnett is still there in second place. Algeri has a little peek to see, is there room down into turn 2? No, there isn't. Stays there in third. Miguel Hall still close in fourth. Stuart Jones not too far behind as well in fifth. Gurnett goes defensive again down into the hairpin, trying to force Algeri the long way round. Penalty for Darren Townsley. That's not going to affect this battle.
That's for a bump and pass, advantage by contact. Martin Gurnett's experience here, Andrew, showing so much. He's just positioning the car. He's not being intimidated, as there's a penalty as well for Lenny Wood, running in 18th. That is for bump and pass as well. Just some of the moves need to be cleaned up a bit here. But Gurnett showing his experience, positioning his car exactly where it needs to be, but that is a really big chance for Algeri. Well identified there, Andrew. Didn't quite pay off, though. This would be such a big result for Gurnett if he can pull it off.
Again, I cannot underestimate just how hard that move is down into turn 2, because you've really got to commit. The trouble is if you overcommit, and it's sometimes just better to hold off. Here is Gurnett going defensive again into the horseshoe. Algeri just cannot find a way by. Martin Gurnett has got the widest Club 100 kart in Dorset. He's doing a fantastic job here.
Absolutely. I'm dead impressed by this. Algeri is stronger going into the hairpin, but Gurnett's just covering it off beautifully. And that's exactly what he needs to do. Tim Hill, by the way, is it a Jackie Stewart quote to win at the slowest speed possible?
I think you might be right.
He's not pulling away here. He's just doing exactly what he needs to do. As Gurnett goes defensive again on Algeri into the hairpin. Genuinely, I promise we're not showing you a replay here, folks. This is the same thing happening every lap. Gurnett just positioning himself beautifully. Miguel Hall's not able to do much with it either.
Nope. The intriguing bit is Tim Hill's not able to pull away at the moment. Little tap there from Algeri. Miguel Hall is very close as well.
Yep.
And will Algeri have a little go down the inside? He is going to have a go down the inside. Oh, now Hall might get the shot here on the inside. But Algeri's going to pull through, and it takes second place. Well, that was really well done by Seb Algeri.
And he now indicates to Gurnett to say, let's work together here to catch up to Tim Hill.
Oh!
But Miguel Hall now trying up the inside of Gurnett, but Gurnett is very well rehearsed at defending around this part of the lap now and holds on to it.
Just to note, Nick Trafford is in the pits. His day is done. That is not good for him in his battle.
No.
As Stuart, with that man there, Stuart Jones for third in the championship.
Jones, good opportunistic move there, went up the inside of Miguel Hall in the last corner round, top bend as it's called, but going on to the new lap, you wouldn't put money on Miguel Hall standing still, and indeed he's not. He's back up the inside of turn 2. Nice little move there from Miguel Hall. This is the thing, he just seems to attempt moves in parts of the track where I don't necessarily expect him to. That was in the early part of turn 2 under braking.
Let's talk super heavyweights. Trevor Randall looking like he could take another victory in super heavyweights. I think he's going to be very close to be able to winning that championship.
Yes.
Paul Williams currently second in super heavyweight, 15th overall. As who's off there?
That's Barney Langley.
So our B final winner. So both our B final winners off in their respective A finals. Third at the moment in super heavyweight, Stuart German. On an up and down day he's had, and we've not mentioned he's actually been nursing an injury as well.
He has
sustained
actually, yes.
at Bayford Meadows a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we're looking at a battle here between Stephen Netting and Mark Turner for 9th place. Yellow's out at the S's.
That's for
That's
Langley
to get Langley
going
underway.
again.
Yep, good spot.
So it's still Hill from Algeri, your first and second drivers in the championship. But at the moment, it's the second place driver in that championship leading. Here's a battle involving Ben Bennyworth.
And Mike Bodner in the 36. Bodner going defensive.
Martin Gurnett, sorry, still there in third. Just clear of Miguel Hall in fourth. Stuart Jones fifth. Then Trevor Randall in sixth.
Trevor Randall's catching up onto the back of this top five, Andrew. It's a really impressive drive from our super heavyweight leader.
Here's the number 11 of Steve Bosley. Didn't have a good run in the first race. Got taken out due to contact with Alexander Lamid, but he's pulled his way through here up to 13th now in this one.
Has got a penalty, though, to be applied for a bump and pass.
Mark Turner, I think, just made his way past Stephen Netting, and now the race is on. Well, well, well. We might not get this in other motorsport series, but you've got first and second in the championship having a proper scrap out on track now. Tim Hill, second in the championship. A matter of points behind. Seb Algieri behind him, who led the championship by 13 points. Now we know that's come down a little bit after Tim Hill's win in the first race here today, whilst Algieri was 7th. But this is the scrap now for 2 minutes round Clay Pigeon in the heavyweights final. Tim Hill will not want to let Seb Algieri through. Oh, he's made a little mistake there, but he's recovered it well.
Yeah,
this is a 6-point swing in the championship, remember.
Yeah.
130 points for the winner, 127 if you finish second.
Yeah, he will be going full Gandalf here. He will not be wanting Algieri past, that is for certain. Algieri jinks to driver's left. Got a run on him, Andrew. This is bold. Round Billy's blind into turn 2. Tim Hill's going to be bold on the brakes. Contact between the top two of the championship. Algieri wide, and Martin Gurnett's going to capitalise on that, going up the inside of the S's. Well, that was an interesting exchange. Gurnett's over the sausage curb somewhat. Got to be careful of that one because they don't like him doing that.
Oh, Miguel Hall
up the inside of Algieri at the hairpin. And look out for Stuart Jones trying to get involved as well with Trevor Randall in the 43. That's not gone well for Seb Algieri. I'm not sure that. I don't think Tim Hill's conduct was penalty worthy. It's exactly that.
Warning.
It's contact warning worthy. And I thought that was firm but fair given it's a championship.
And I'm just going to say, Seb, you went too early. You needed to keep pushing Tim along for a lap now. Yes, Tim went ultra defensive, but I would have just, tried to isolate Tim Hill by pushing him up the road a little bit, because it going wrong has now meant that Martin Gurnett's got ahead and into second place.
Absolutely. One thing we should say, of course, with Nick Trafford having difficulties, this will likely put Tim Hill and Seb Algieri out in front of the two heavyweights to battle it out in the remaining 2 rounds. Difficult to see how Trafford will come back from a day like today. Miguel Hall still running really well here in 4th place with Stuart Jones and Trevor Randall behind, and still massively impressed here by Martin Gurnett, driving very well in 2nd place here. Seb Algieri, though, is all over the back of him in the dying moments. Trevor Randall's trying up the inside of Stuart Jones, but it's not on there going into the S's. This is a brilliant last lap here. Last lap of racing for the day. Gurnett goes defensive on Algieri into the hairpin. He just needs to repeat the same defensive manoeuvre he's been doing all race long, but this is the best run Algieri's done, and for the first time, Algieri has actually executed a pass for 2nd place in the dying moments of the lap. They're coming round to finish this one. Tim Hill is going to be away and clear. Round the last corner they come. Tim Hill is going to take the win in round 10 of Club 100 Sprints Heavyweights for 2018. He finishes just ahead of his championship rival, who I believe will still go away from here today as the championship leader in the form of Seb Algieri. Martin Gurnett gets a very, very commendable, well-deserved podium finish in 3rd. Brilliant drive from him today. Miguel Hall finishes an impressive 4th. Stuart Jones finishes 5th. That'll be good for him in the championship. Trevor Randall has one hand on the super heavyweight trophy, finishing in 6th. Aaron Stevens has a good finish in 7th. Dan Taylor in 8th. Stephen Netting battled hard to finish 9th ahead of Mark Turner in 10th, and it was Steve Bosley. Ben Bennyworth did well considering he started the day not qualifying for the A grids. Mike Bodner in 13th, Lenny Wood in 14th. Does have a penalty to be applied, I believe. Paul Williams, your 2nd place super heavy, finishes 15th overall. Craig Brown 16th, 17th for Ben Cottle. Nima Opavar finishes 18th, with Stuart German rounding out the super heavyweight podium, finishing 19th overall. Darren Townsley rounds out the top 20. Michael Ballinger had a day to forget somewhat today, finished 21st. Jordan Salter had a good day at the races, won
the pre-B final earlier on. He finishes 22nd, 23rd for Barney Langley. Alexander Lamin in 24th, and not really finishing the race, but classified 25th, Nick Trafford. Here was the race then. Tim Hill had a good start. Martin Gurnett actually had one of the better starts we've seen from Grid 2 here today. But he did end up going a little bit wide. Here was the battle. Miguel Hall taking to the grass on that one. Otherwise, though, it was broadly okay. Into the hairpin they went. We did have, now there's the takeout for Nima Opavar. That was the 4x4 takeout ADC penalty that we saw given for that. And here was one of the many times that Martin Gurnett defended against Seb Algieri. Here's an attempt to get past Trevor Randall for Aaron Stevens. He did get a contact warning for that one, but still had a good finish here, did Aaron Stevens. Here's Martin Gurnett again, defending against Seb Algieri through the hairpin. And again. And fair play to James for cutting all of these together in the replay package, but it was a masterclass in defence from Gurnett, it has to be said. But here was Algieri getting the job done in a different part of the lap. Finally got it hooked up heading into the S's, and then he was on a mission to reel in Tim Hill, his championship rival. There's Miguel Hall also trying to get past Gurnett. Gurnett's impressed me so much today. He's just been driving brilliantly. Battle between Stuart Jones and Miguel Hall as well. That was over 4th place. Further back, you had battles like this one. Stephen Netting and Mark Turner were battling pretty much throughout. And here was the battle between the two key protagonists in the championship. Tim Hill versus Seb Algieri. Bit of contact. Algieri out wide. Contact warning given for Tim Hill. But that was all. It allowed Gurnett and Miguel Hall to have a go at Seb Algieri. But in the end, Seb Algieri was able to come back on the last lap to take the 2nd place from Martin Gurnett. Gurnett still gets his podium. Seb Algieri gets a few more vital points to keep himself well in the championship running. But Tim Hill has had a very important psychological victory there. Thumbs up from the two. Great to see. Good battling between the two. But, well, it's been as with all of the classes today, it's been a fascinating day in the championship standings.
Just a bit.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. Just got to wait on to see whether we've got the ability to go down to the podiums. Again, big thanks to the guys from Alpha Timing today.
Yep.
In fact, yeah, let's do our thank yous whilst we're. Big thanks to the guys from Alpha Timing today for keeping us up to date on all the things that are going on. Thank you to Alpha Live as well for the production, and James Fitchew. I said he was in the truck earlier. He's not down in the truck. He's directly below our feet. So if I jump up and down, I'll give him a headache.
Which we've done a lot today because we've had the rave music going on.
And that's
him knocking back. I don't know if you can hear that.
So big thanks to James today. Big thanks to Chris Simpson and his whole team out on the cameras today. Really, really top job. There's a young man here running with a race helmet on without a cart.
Okay.
Keep going, son.
Keep going. I don't know if there's a lap record for running the circuit.
Well, there probably is.
It's good to know he's wearing the correct safety gear. It's good to know he's wearing the correct
safety gear. He is wearing the safety gear.
He is wearing a helmet, so it's fine.
If he does stack it, he's well protected. Anyway, don't worry, we'll come back to us for a full rundown of how the championships are looking, because as I say, the Alpha Timing guys have already let me know what the lightweights one is looking back, what is looking like. By the time we get back from the podium with JV, I'm sure we'll have the heavyweights as well. Here we go for the podiums.
Are we live? We are live. Okay, that's all right. We are live. JV, we're all right.
Okay, right. So here we go, everybody. We are here. Thank you very much. What a great day. Some terrific racing out there. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I hope the spectators enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yay. Did you all enjoy it, everyone?
Yay!
Good. Okay, wonderful. That's what I like to hear. Okay, we've got a couple of B finals to present first of all. We'll start with our lightweight B final winner. Just 3rd place was Craig Rankin in the B. Keith Segal winner of the B final at Lid. We'll never forget that one. But our winner this year, this round at Clay Pigeon, congratulations, driver number 29, Lloyd McGeoch Williams. You're on the podium, Lloyd. You won the B final. There we go. Well done. Well done to Lloyd there. And we will. Right, heavyweight sprint B final, 24 grid in this one. But just mention our top three in this one. It was Rob Adlam finishing in third position. Darren Townsley finished in second place. But winner of the B final, we haven't seen him for ages, and a big welcome back to driver number 92, Barney Langley. There you go. Nice one, Barney. Love to see it. I love the police badge as well. The police badge. He's been sporting that for years. Okay, right. So we're going to go to. Oh, where are we? Sorry, I've got to go to the heavies, haven't I? Yeah. In fact, sorry, I've got the super heavyweight trophies here lined up, and yes, he's done it again, Mr. Essex Flat Pack. And what's he brought here? He's 3 bottles of Scrumpy. Thank you very much, Stuart. Really putting the stops out there. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, right, so where are we? Heavyweight sprint A final. So we had 4 super heavyweights in the heavyweight sprint A final. Sorry, lightweights, we're going to do you last, guys, because I've got these ones here. I'm going to run through the order anyway. Nima Parva in 25th place. Nick Trafford retiring after 7 laps. 24th. Darren Townsley 23rd. Alexander Lamin finishing in 22nd place. 21st went to Barney Langley. 4th in the super heavyweights. That was Jordan Salter. 19th place went to Michael Ballinger. We arrived then at our 3rd position driver. 3rd place, finishing 18th overall, but 3rd in super heavyweights. Driver number 9, Stuart German. There you go, Stu. There you go. And you can have a bottle of your Scrumpy back, mate. Oh, well, I'll be surprised. Okay, you can have a bottle of that back. Brilliant. Lenny Wood it was in 17th place. Ben Cottle 16th. Craig Brown finishing in 15th place. 14th went to Steve Bosley. And our runner-up in the super heavyweights finishing 13th overall. But our runner-up here at Clay Pigeon in the supers, driver number 65, Paul Williams. You left the prices on them, mate. That's best before day. Oh, best before day, okay. Well done. All right, so we're moving up the order now before we find our winning super heavyweight driver. Mike Bodner, 12th position to Mike. 11th went to Ben Bennyworth. Mark Turner, top 10, 10th place. Stephen Nettin, 9th position today. Well done to Stephen. Daniel Taylor doing well to finish 8th. Aaron Stevens, decent weekend for Aaron there. 7th place to Aaron. And here he is, our winner of the super heavyweight, 6th position overall. I believe he started in P6 in the final. Winning the super heavyweights here at Clay Pigeon for round number 10. Driver number 43, Trevor Randall. He's thinking about it. Trevor doesn't drink, so he's got to give that away to somebody. There we go, guys. Let's have your Scrumpy in your hand, trophy in the other hand. Big smile for the camera. Well done, Jack. Well done. Another round of applause. Our top 3 super heavyweight drivers. Okay, we're going to move on now to our top 5 and presentation for our heavyweight drivers. And this particular round has been sponsored by Speed Screen. Up here on the banner here, so he's bought some beautiful trophies. They absolutely slaughter the Essex Flat Pack trophies. So here we go. So this is our heavyweight trophies. Thank you very much to Tim, the managing director from Speed Screen, who's kindly sponsored this round with these absolutely amazing trophies. So 5th place went to Stuart Jones. 4th was Miguel Hall, and 3rd place, ladies and gentlemen, well done indeed, driver number 25, Martin Gurnett. Don't drop it, Martin. It's worth a fortune. Runner up for round number 10 then. Driver number 57, Seb Altieri. Well done, Seb. Careful, mate. Careful. Handle each, handle each. There you go, mate. There you go. Yeah, I have to say, winning both finals today, absolutely smashed it, and maximum points, 260 points going towards his championship points tally at the business end of the season, which closes it up somewhat, I believe. I haven't seen the latest table, but it certainly takes it down to the wire. Congratulations. He's not only won today, but he's won one of his amazing trophies. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Mr. Tim Hill. Get up there, fantastic.
Right. Don't drop it. Probably costs more than John's anyway.
We'll have another photo, Jack. Come on, grab the real ones, boys. Grab the real ones. There you go, Seb. There you go, mate. Hey, Tim. Congratulations. Let's have another photo, guys. Another round of applause, guys, with their real trophies. Brilliant. Well done to our heavyweights. Fantastic. All right, so final presentation, our lightweights. I have done it a little bit the wrong way round because, yeah, the lightweights raced before the heavies, didn't they? But, yeah, my fault. But here we go. We'll save the golden ones till last. All right, so where are we? Excuse me, I just need to rearrange my clipboard here. Find it in a minute. Right, so, yeah, lightweights. A really good grid today in the lightweights. Thank you for your support, lightweight drivers. We had a B final and indeed maximum grid for the A final. James Appleton, unfortunately, he did qualify 6th, but he couldn't compete. He's hurt his ribs, so unfortunate there for James. A speedy recovery to him. Rob Langthorpe then in 25th position. Tom McKenzie 24th. Then it was Matt Bell, Lloyd McGill-Williams, we've just seen him here picking up his B final trophy, 22nd in the A. 21st was Tom Mayton. George Redstone finishing 20th. Daniel Crawley 19th. Keith Segal qualifying from the B finals to finish 18th overall in the A. Well done to Keith. Bailey Morgan, 2nd Racing Club 100, Young Bailey, well done to Young Bailey there, A final again, and 17th. Chris Woodger, 16th. Ross Wheeligan, it was lovely to see Ross, he's been away for a while and come back for the one-off here today, and finishing 15th in the A final. Hussein Rashid, we saw him on the podium at Shennington, 14th today to Hussein. John Gooch, winner of the A final, last round at Rye House, I believe, 13th today in the A final. He came from the pre-B. Billy Robson, 12th place to Billy today. Hope you've enjoyed yourself today, Billy. Adam Wilden, it was in 11th place. Top 10 then, Mike Townley, it was in 10th place. 9th was Daryl Snelling. Daryl, regular top 10s now to Daryl. Well done. This is one to note. 8th position going to driver number 88, Josh Adams. He came from the pre-B final up there to finish 8th in the A final. So well done there to young Josh. Peter Hobson, it was in 7th place. James Vennin, 6th position to James. Ben Atkinson in 5th, and Andrew Ward finishing in 4th place. They all deserve a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. But to our top 3 then, and 3rd place going to driver number 42, Matt Jones. Nice one, Matt. Well done, mate. Cheers. Well done. And to our runner-up then, he polled it, won the pre-final, polled it for this one. Runner-up in the end though, driver number 38, Mike Noon. Well done. But to our race winner then, he's a local lad, this is his home circuit, and he's won it here today, winner of the lightweights, round number 10 here at Clay Pigeon. Ladies and gentlemen, driver number 91, Samuel Nash. Well done, mate. And indeed, Samuel gets the gift voucher sponsored by, this championship sponsored by Dartford Karting. So, a little gift voucher there, a bit of money to spend at Dartford Karting for you, Samuel. Well done. All done? Yeah? Another round of applause, please. Top 3 in the lights. Thank you. Okay, listen, I'd like to say a big thank you to Clay Pigeon, the marshals, a big thank you to the Alpha Live team. Apparently the stream has been fantastic, which I haven't been able to watch, but yeah, top job to those guys, top job to the Club 100 guys as well, who are busy loading up. Thank you very much, everybody. Next round, Wilton Mill, penultimate round on the international circuit. Safe journey home. By the way, the M27 is open. Take care.
And back to us in the box. I enjoyed that podium ceremony. I think that was my favourite of the year so far.
We were loving that one in the box.
My esteemed colleague was struggling to keep his emotions in check.
Your Clay Pigeon lap record for small child running the lap is 2 minutes 34 seconds, but
he exceeded track limits. Okay,
he was just using an abridged layout.
He got half the course off.
Got tired on the back straight. I would be.
Life is unfair, son. Life is unfair. Sometimes you've got to play by the rules and suck it up to the man. You exceeded track limits. Your lap time is deleted.
I disagree with the harsh comments of my colleague. There were little checkered flags and everything. It was lovely. 2 minutes 34. See if you can beat it round Clay Pigeon. Right.
Very, very quickly, because I know James might cut us off if we go on too long. I'm going to talk lightweights. The championship lead is in Mike Noon's hands, and it is a whole 2 points. Over Chris Woodger. So that's not even the advantage of a race victory. So we've had all this racing, 20 races so far. It's going to come down to 4 races between now and the end of the season to decide who's going to be the lightweight 2018 sprint champion. You know, I've competed in this one. I've looked at it before. I cannot remember a season being this tight for the championship with 2 rounds to go. Just to run through the down through the order, because there's other tight battles in here as well. James Fenning looking good in 3rd on 1736. Matt Jones is 4th on 1715, so you've got a battle there for 3rd. And then kind of the last of the big pots. The top 5 get big pots at the end of the year, so this means something, this 5th place. At the moment, Ben Atkinson's got it on 1685. Rob Langthorpe's 6th on 1684. Andrew Ward is 7th on 1682. I'm not finished. 8th place is Adam Wielden on 1674. So you've got a 4-way scrap there between 4 very, very evenly matched drivers to decide who's going to get the last of the championship trophies.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Over here on the heavyweights desk, it's not too dissimilar a story. We have 5 points as a gap between the top 2 here over in heavyweight. Seb Algieri still just in the lead on 1765. Tim Hill, with that win, takes himself up to 1760 after 20 races. Just 5 points that gap. And the gap between 1st and 2nd in a race is 3rd, so mightily close there. Nick Trafford not had a great day, of course, but still sits in a comfortable 3rd place. He just needs to bring that one home, really, at this point, because it's some 31 points. Thank you back to Stuart Jones, who also had a decent day today. He's on 1705, and then Ben Bennyworth still sits in 5th place on 1680. But just as with the lightweights, that battle for the last trophy, so the top 5 getting the trophies come the end of the championship, you've got Ben Bennyworth on 1680. You've got Trevor Randall, our super heavyweight leader, on 1677. Miguel Hall then in 7th on 1674, and then Steve Bosley on 1668 in 8th place. So it is just so close at the top of the heavyweight championship, and so close at the top of every championship, as the small child has now gone out again to try and to beat his lap record.
Told him he exceeded.
I'm going to start the stopwatch again, or stop the start watch to give a classic Murrayism.
138 points is the lead for Mr. Randall over Stuart Sherman in the super heavyweight. So I reckon we'll see that one wrapped up at. In fact, yes, we can. This is going to go horribly wrong.
Yeah, let's do this. We've been told we can do this all day. We just didn't do this.
Where this is where you see, folks, why we're in the comms box and not outside. Can you spot him? He's behind the pillar at the. There he is. There he is.
Going for it. It's brilliant. Go for it, little dude.
Take over. This is going horribly wrong. Zoom in.
Oh, God, no, I'm not going to be that bold. Why not show you that? Here's the comms box, by the way. Here is the clubhouse at Clay Pigeon that you've seen in the back of shots. And that place, it's great to watch the reaction from crowds on the balcony up there, as lap record holder, reigning lap record holder for small child running the lap, is flagging a little bit through the S's, but he's keeping going. Fair play to him.
Don't touch JV's sausage curb.
Don't touch the sausage curb, you will get a penalty. Anyway, let's put it back there to just say bye-bye to folks here. That concludes the racing, except for him, out there today at Clay Pigeon. Thank you very much for joining us and supporting the stream. Like, share, subscribe, as applicable across the various forms of social media. Alpha Live are on Facebook and on YouTube. Club 100 are on the two aforementioned plus Twitter.
Instagram.
And Instagram, are they? Sorry, of course they are. Club 100 are on Instagram. I don't use Instagram, as you may have guessed. But they're there, so check them out. And if you're interested generally about the championship, www.club100.co.uk. There's a man out the door. So we better wrap up. So yes, 2 more rounds left. Get involved. It's a great way to go racing. As you've seen how much fun people have been having today. Thanks to JV and all his team at Club 100 who make it possible. Thank you to all the marshals and circuit staff here at Clay Pigeon who have made the racing possible this weekend. We couldn't go racing without you. And just a massive thanks to everybody for all the efforts that have gone in today, particularly Alpha Live, James Fitzhugh downstairs, and all the cameramen who have been braving the elements here out at the circuit to bring you the pictures here today.
He's exceeded track limits.
He hasn't. He's just doing it abridged, and it's 2 minutes 38. It is a slightly slower lap time that time round, but room for improvement. It's good signs. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much. You've been watching this stream. It's been an Alpha Live production on behalf of Club 100 with support on commentary from Double Dash Motorsport Media. So it's goodbye from me, Howard Mitchell.
Goodbye from me, Andrew Mather.
And we're next streaming Club 100 at Wilton Mill.
21st of October.
21st of October. Don't forget to join us for that. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care and goodbye.